super pro processors. With easier handling of AI workloads, your organization can bring powerful insights to the surface. Make amazing happen. HP, AMD, and CDW. Learn more at cdw.com/HPAMD.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect that of the staff and management of Good Karma Brands, but are the sole responsibility of the host and guests of this particular show.
America may have many, many days, but they will be full of trouble. There will be no rest. There will be no tranquility in this country until the nation comes to terms with our problems.
Bringing you social and political commentary from his mouth to your ears, breaking down the issues which matter to you.
You are not put here to be a white man's footstool. You are put here to represent the very best in God's word.
Legendary civil rights icon, the Reverend Jesse Jackson in the studio. Reverend Jackson, how are you?
Mr. Sherwin, good morning on this chilly Milwaukee morning.
And I am pleased to have one of the founding members of the Black Panther Party, Chairman Bobby Seale. Mr. Chairman, how are you this morning?
Good morning. I'm doing just fine. Thank you.
From Mr. Eric Holder. Mr. Holder, so good to see you. How are you?
Well, I'm fine, man. How you been? It's been a long time. Haven't seen you for a while.
The Dr. Cornell West. Dr. West, how are you, sir?
My dear brother, you're so kind, you're so generous, so man, but I salute you and the work that you were doing there. Doing a magnificent job there in Wisconsin.
Stream live on 1017thetruth.com. Call in with your questions or comments. 833-212-1017. Join us on social media at 1017 The Truth. It may not be what you expect to hear, but I will definitely give you what you need to know. Are you ready for the truth?
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Sherwin Hughes.
Good morning. Welcome to the program. Today is Friday, November 24th, 2025. First week of the Trump transfer is behind us. And it was a little bit of what we expected, a lot of what we did not expect. We have been eerily silent. We have here 1017 The Truth, and it seems like the other parts of the media that have been incessantly covering every single part of the Trump transition. Well, now it is transitioned. There's one African-American appointee to a major cabinet level position, but we have not heard much from him. We're going to discuss Donald Trump's selection to lead housing and urban development in the very unusual situation he finds himself in, and how the Democrats are responding to Donald Trump's only African-American cabinet-level appointee. I want to kind of put that to the side, but I do want to, at some point, talk about that because I think there should be diversity in this cabinet, even though the people that have risen to the level of serving Donald Trump, I don't believe, this is my opinion now, your opinion may vary, I don't believe that they can be in the best interest of the African-American community writ large, because Donald Trump has not shown any kind of particular respect to the unique situation that black people are in. Now, again, black people are not a monolith, but if you look at us writ large as a whole, as a population, as a community, as a diaspora, we have some similarities. It does not matter where you go in America, there are African-American communities that share similarities. It's those similarities that need to rise to the level of attention and policy. And maybe the similarities are we have higher levels of mortality. Maybe when we find out we have ailments like cancer, we are of advanced stages. Maybe the African-American community, and I say maybe because these are just, they're factual, but they're all kind of spread out across our diaspora. Let's say the African-American community, and we do have higher rates of infant mortality. So you look at those commonalities amongst us, and then you say, okay, well, let's get people in the administration in cabinet level positions that can focus on these things that are harming that community. That is what you're supposed to do. That is why diversity is needed. There may be particular incidences that impact the Asian American community, the Native American community. So having someone who is familiar and well-versed and well-educated on those particular issues for those communities needs to be in the presidential cabinet. That's why you have a cabinet, so you can have a diversity of people that can look at all of the different stripes and types of Americans, see what is ailing them. When I say see what is ailing them, what is preventing them from all being successful, from all being homeowners, from all being high school graduates and college graduates and entrepreneurs? What are those barriers? Let's look at those because we know what they are. We know what all the data is. We know what all the science is. It's the whole point of tracking Americans and wanting their data. The amount of information that we can have of the American people and the different communities and populations, it's staggering. Now, you can use that data for good. I firmly believe that. So even the social media data that we have, the data that Google has aggregated on us, you really can use that for good. Now, you can use it for evil, too. So I don't want someone to think that because an entity has your data, that it's always bad. They have the choice to use your data for bad. They also have the choice to use it for good, to learn more about people and what issues they may be facing and how we can find individuals to lead presidential cabinets or to be policymakers that can assist with those issues. That's how it's supposed to work. If we were in an ideal multicultural democracy, that would be 100% operating at full and best capacity. What is hurting Americans? What is keeping them back? What is keeping us from being more competitive than some of our international counterparts? Because if we are not operating as Americans at our optimal level, other countries are going to slaughter us. Now, we can look at the diversity a bunch of different ways. We do see how the Trump administration looks at diversity. I clearly have a problem with that. And if you don't have a problem with that, I will explain to you why I have a problem with that, and maybe we can share the same sentiment. If you look at a country like, let me take just a random one that is more homogeneous, like Sweden, Norway, Finland, okay? Not a lot of diversity in those countries. Those are probably 95+% Northern European, Caucasian, white countries. They don't have to deal with the issues that arise from diversity and racism and segregation because those countries are so overwhelmingly white. So they can focus on moving their entire populations forward, making sure everybody has healthcare, making sure everyone can go to college for free, because they do that in those countries. And they do that in those countries because when they offer those kinds of services, they're offering them to people that are all the same. They're all the same race, all the same ethnicity. The reason why, I'll just use this as an example, the reason why we don't have universal health care in this country is because black people would get it. That has been said publicly on the record for the last 60 years. Lyndon Johnson, when he was on his spree of signing all the civil rights legislation, he was like, oh, well, maybe we should since we're making Medicare, we should make it for everybody. And there were a number of Democratic and Republican senators and members of the House of Representatives that said, don't you dare. Because in knowing things about different populations in this country and knowing what some of the disparities are, you know how to maintain those disparities. African Americans have always had health disparities in this country, either because we haven't had access to it or we don't trust it. Now that's when you bring in the information about the Tuskegee experiment. So we have always had health disparities. So if you want to kill black people and not have to use a hangman's noose, do not provide us health care. I'm going to need you to remember that because this is going to be central to my conversation today. You have to kill us without burning the cross. You have to kill black people. If you don't like black people, and there's a lot of folks that don't, and don't be fooled because somebody is nice to you. They still can hate you because you're black. You have to kill us without it rising to our attention. You have to kill us and make it look like we died naturally, or it was just an incident, or, oh, that's just too bad. That's what they're making it look like. Or when we die prematurely, it's our fault. If you remove resources and education from a community, they will die sooner. If you do not have access to health care, or if you limit transportation options, or if you make it difficult to get a driver's license, more people are going to die, and that is how they are manipulating our population. You don't have to believe me. There's something I've been tracking for, I don't know, since probably the fall. I haven't brought it up on the show yet because, last fall was a whirlwind of activity. Every presidential candidate and a mama was here, and we had all of the things going on, and we had conventions, and that consumed a lot of the oxygen in the room here. And across other media, but I still was tracking this thing longitudinally. There was something that I noticed in the fall-ish, late summer of 2024. It's a news story, public health story, something like that. And I've just kind of been watching it and monitoring it. And I said, well, if this ever rises to the level where I see it as an emergency, then I will bring it up on the show. But also, you got to keep in mind at that time that I started tracking this thing, and I'm going to tell you what that thing is on the other side, which means you got to stay tuned. I was expecting Kamala Harris to win. Because if Kamala Harris would have won, then this thing, this burgeoning emergency, could have been mitigated. In fact, it would have been mitigated, in my opinion, so quickly because of the priorities of what would have been a Kamala Harris, Tim Walz administration. I never would have had to bring it up. Okay? This was if Kamala Harris and Tim Walz won, this thing that I've been watching and monitoring since late last summer, early last fall, I wouldn't even have to have a discussion on it. Well, Kamala Harris didn't win. And I'm done having discussions on why she didn't win. And I'm going to tell you why I'm done having discussions on that, because we took a call from somebody this week that was shocked and appalled at something that Donald Trump did. I think it was removing DEI or taking away the protections that we have against discrimination on the job, a whole bunch of stuff that Trump did with his executive orders. And so somebody called, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe Trump is doing this. Sherwin, why didn't Kamala Harris yell at us more and tell us this was coming? And when I heard that, that's when I decided I'm going to table that whole discussion. Because it's amazing how now that we are faced with whatever the next few years are going to look like with Donald Trump, people are now saying, oh, Sherwin, Kamala Harris and them should have warned us. They should have yelled at us. They should have screamed at us. They did. Barack Obama did. And y'all got mad at him because you didn't like his tone. Do y'all remember the rants I used to go on when I would hear all of these black men, prominent black men, black members of Congress and black media types? Even Roland Martin sat his big head ass in my studio and said, we didn't like how Obama talked to us. Obama was trying to warn you. And I just found it so ironic that somebody called this week and said, Sherwin, they should have warned us more that Trump was going to do this. We did everything we could and assembled every voice we could. I just remembered I interviewed Don Cheadle. I love Don Cheadle. He's in the movies, a lot of them. I replayed a little bit of my Mark Cuban interview. That was my favorite interview of last year. That Mark Cuban interview was better than my scripted interview with Joe Biden, better than any of the interviews I'd ever done with Kamala Harris. That was my favorite. And I went back and listened to a little bit of it because I want to hear the warnings that people were giving us last summer, last fall about this upcoming election. And I'm listening to a little piece of the Mark Cuban interview. And Mark Cuban is like, we shouldn't trust Elon Musk. He's going to Elon Musk. And what happened? Elon Musk gives a damn Nazi salute at the inauguration. Mark Cuban was trying to tell us. He was like, I know Elon Musk. He's a billionaire like me. You can't trust him. Mark Cuban also said, you can't trust Donald Trump. But he was like, well, you know that already. So this thing that I was monitoring last year that I thought would have been eradicated or mitigated to where we wouldn't have to worry about it here, well, it has risen to concern, and so I'm going to share that information with you this morning. But I just want people to I want you to have a perspective that there are populations of people in this country that are still not welcome in this land. Now, most Americans, I think we get along with one another. I think we sometimes blow our individual racism out of proportion. I think we do. And whenever there's an incident of it where it's blatant, we always talk about it. We get mad about it. We always say something like, oh, black people need to come together. Stop it. I've had enough of that one, too. But I think for the most part, we blow it out of proportion. But there are people that have a tremendous amount of power and a tremendous amount of influence that do not like non-white populations in this country. And you just have to know that. You just have to understand. You can grapple with it. You can disagree with it. You can be angry about it. But you have to know that there are some people that don't like Native Americans in this country. There's some people that don't like black people. There's some people, clearly there's people that don't like Latinos, Hispanics, and migrants, right? So you got to keep this in mind. And so if you have the ability to have an undue amount of influence over a population that you don't like, you're not going to help them. You're not going to find people that are subject matter experts in the plagues of the black community and make them a central part of your cabinet. You're not going to make them an advisor because you don't care about black people. If you don't care about Latin American people, if you don't care about Asian people, then you're not going to make someone who's an expert on the things that are hampering Asian progress or Latino progress. You're not going to make these people a central part of your administration, because this is what multicultural democracies are supposed to do. You look at all the different groups and all the different communities, you find subject matter experts on those communities, because no one person can be a subject matter expert on all the different diverse communities. You find somebody that's a subject matter expert on the LGBTQ community because they're dealing with stuff too. And you find somebody that's very educated, very connected to that community, and you bring them into your administration so they can assist you in helping those people. That is what we pay damn taxes for. Why else do you think we're paying taxes? Because if you don't look at it that way, then all your money just goes to rich people and the military. And I want to see it differently. My version and vision of the federal government is one where we help people, because when you help people, you got to worry about them less. If you take resources away from people and you starve them from opportunity, they're going to kill each other. That's the bottom line. Don't make it more complicated than that. When you starve a community, people become desperate. And when someone becomes desperate in a nation where it's easier to get a gun than a job, well, then that brings more problems. So I'm going to take a break. Come on back. I'm going to tell you about this thing that I've been watching and monitoring like a hawk. Now, I didn't bring it up last year because we had a bunch of election stuff we had to get through, but I had my eye on this thing. Had Kamala Harris and Tim Walz got elected, I would have never needed to talk about it, but since they didn't win, I'm going to have to discuss it, and I'm going to discuss it on the other side. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
It's Kyle Wallace, host of Truth to Power on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth, and I want you to tune in every day from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. as I engage in a community conversation I know you want to hear. From topics like our property tax bill price hike, which I know had us all shaking our heads, to the incredible MPS students getting millions of dollars worth of scholarships to pursue their dreams, I have you covered, Milwaukee. So tune in to Truth to Power every day from noon to 1 p.m. on 101.7 The Truth app, and streaming live on YouTube.
It's 101.7 The Truth's Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Happy New Year means a lot of rough days ahead for those who suffer from seasonal affective disorder. Plenty of gray, frigid days on the horizon where we all just want to be snugly and warm at home. That's where Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin comes in. Their inviting doors welcome friends and family into a cozy home thanks to Pella's gorgeous, energy-efficient windows, keeping the cold out. Pella can make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Visit Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin showroom today so you can learn the Pella difference and get inspired on making your home more energy efficient and beautiful with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Hurry, you only have until January 31st to score Pella's New Year's special. 0% interest for up to 3 years. Certain restrictions apply. Visit PellaWI.com.
Busy commute? Surf to Tsunami Express Car Wash. In just 3 minutes, your car will look fresh and ready to get back on the road. Tsunami Express makes cleanup a breeze with state-of-the-art tunnels, free vacuums, mat cleaners, and complimentary detailing supplies. Visit any of their 5 convenient locations in the greater Milwaukee area. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat. Get your first wash free when you sign up online at tsunamiexpress.com.
American Family Insurance is a lot like Captain America. He protects the world.
It's just doing my job.
And we help protect your dreams with amazing auto and home coverage. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com. And see Marvel Studios' Captain America: Brave New World.
Suit up. We need to move.
In theaters February 14th. This film is not yet rated.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
survécu. Je ne sais pas eu les temps enfant oui. Oh, je t'aime, mon chéri.
They do that to the Beach Boys. I got a serious topic going on right now, Rick. It's very serious. All right. I mean, I'm sure we'll fly off the rails at some point, but I was kind of dreading this day to where I would have to bring this up because the subject matter is extremely uncomfortable and it's something that we don't want to have to deal with again. But like I said on a previous show this week, the only armaments that we have as a public is information. That is the best way in which we can defend ourselves. Either you have a lot of information and you can use your intelligence to apply that information to remedies and solutions, or you need guns. And I'd rather not go the gun route. Countries that have a large brain trust have less violence. Countries that have higher levels of education, this is why education is so central. That is why we have to, some kind of way, wrestle back control of our school system, because look at other nations. Don't just look at the United States of America. We're a bad example in a lot of categories because we could do it right. We have the money to do it right, but we don't. Countries that invest more in education and training their populations invest less in the military because they don't need it. Because they don't need to blow up other countries to solve their own problems. They don't need to fight somebody else. Like the big bully, right? You guys ever been bullied back in the day? Bullying is different now because now they like put people in jail for bullying. But back in my day when you got bullied, the bully was always dumb. Let me give you another example, a more like individual practical application example. Nerdy kids didn't bully anybody because they didn't have to. They sat in front of the class, they wore their glasses, they had tape on their glasses for some reason, they were nerdy. They didn't bully nobody because they were smart. Only dummies bully people. Big dummies. Dum-dums. So either you invest in educating your population, or you have to invest in a big military where you can just blow other people up. So it's usually just one or the other. And countries that have higher levels of education, usually countries that provide either universal education or free or low-cost college and vocational training, don't go to war a lot because they don't have to. They can just kind of forge ahead and create new technologies, et cetera. We haven't exactly done that here in the United States of America. So I was doing some little background stuff looking at COVID and who was impacted most by COVID. And the data that we got from the COVID-19 pandemic is priceless because it shows us how the virus spread through different communities. And it's usually communities that are already less healthy, less healthcare resources, communities that prioritize their health less. There's an income component, and the most stark component that I have with all the information in front of me, and all the information is out there. There's a tremendous amount of info on COVID available, because if we need to study it to see, well, if something like this ever happens again, who do we need to protect? Who's going to be okay? And who is the most vulnerable? Cumulative COVID-19 age-adjusted infection rate by race and ethnicity. 21,863.4 per 100,000. That's the Hispanics. They were infected at the second highest rate during COVID. Third highest rate is Native American. First highest rate. Let me get it right, Sherwin. Is Native American. Second is Latinos and Hispanics. Third, Asians, and then African Americans. And the numbers are, they're negligible. But African Americans were up there. And so why it's a problem for us, even though we weren't the number one, cases of COVID, we're number 3-ish. There are a lot more African Americans than the most highly infected population, which are Native Americans. So when we get COVID, it has the ability to spread through our community faster. And again, we oftentimes already have higher mortality rates. We already have these things called comorbidities. So when it comes to COVID, we were in the worst shape because we are the largest population that had the most comorbidities. So in the event that we have something like this happening again, you've got to give particular care to the African-American community, meaning if there's any semblance of any kind of pandemic coming back, you first need to make sure the African-American community is protected. And not just with the vaccines, because that's going to start a whole other argument, not just with face masks and PPE, with information. It starts with information. How do you defend yourself and how do you protect yourself in the event that we have another pandemic? And I also need to be clear about this, too, because they've toyed with it and they've warned us and they've played with it about like, oh, another pandemic can come back. They use the wrong terminology. The problem with COVID is COVID never went away. COVID is now something else. COVID is like a virus in drag. It's like a transgender virus. It started off male. Then it became gay. I'm using horrible examples. Just humor me on this. I'm using examples that people can relate to. And then it decided it wanted to transition altogether. I went to the grocery store last night, Rick. I went to the Meejers. You know Meejers on 114th and Burleigh? It's like a Walmart and a Target, but better. So you got everything at the Meejers. You can buy a TV. You can buy a flash drive. You can buy bacon, chicken, steaks, fresh vegetables and produce. You buy all the things. You also can buy eggs. So I'm walking in the dairy aisle. You know, the dairy has it's a dairy case. You got a dairy case where you have your mini milks. There's soy milks, there's almond milks, and there's my personal favorite, oat milks. And you got the regular cow milks as well. Skim, 1%, 2%, whole milks. Whole milk is what I call thick white girls, just an FYI. No, I'm just saying because they're full fat. You know what I mean? Good fat. I also looked at the price of eggs because I was wondering, Donald Trump is president now. Eggs are very cheap. The cheapest eggs that I saw, and maybe this was a Meejers thing, but have y'all noticed the price of eggs have gone up and they've gone up recently? Since this week, eggs have gone up. $4.19 is the cheapest that I saw eggs because you got different types of eggs. You got the pasture-raised eggs. You got the organic eggs. You got the free-range eggs. I was looking at the old cheap-ass, AA, grade A, cheap-ass eggs. The cheap ones are $4.19 for a dozen.
Wait a minute.
Huh?
Are you, what did you say? You said
the inexpensive eggs, the cheap-ass eggs. The cheap-ass ones.
Are you trying to talk young, white, in Milwaukee language? Accent?
Why would I do that, brother folks?
Wow.
Why would I? Rick, I'm trying to make a point.
I thought I was hearing stuff. Okay, continue. Go ahead.
Thank you. So this thing that I have been watching is the evolution of COVID. COVID-19 was the initial naming of that virus, right? COVID-19. SARS-2, COVID-19. That's what we named the original strain. Well, now it's evolved. Okay, and that's why you have to get the updated vaccines, right? So there were the COVID vaccines that we got in end of 2020, early 2021, and henceforth. And then there were updated vaccines. You know why that is? That is because COVID, it mutates, right? It started out as one thing and it changed to another and another. So here's another example of that. So the flu that we get, the regular old seasonal flu, okay? People get the flu. It wasn't necessarily what was going on this past fall and winter, that RSV. Oh, that was a nasty bugger, was it not? Very nasty. That RSV had a lot of people down for the count. That was not the same as the seasonal flu. So the seasonal flu existed, and then RSV came and got a lot of people sick. But the seasonal flu that we still deal with every single year, the good old-fashioned, old-school regular flu, started as a virus that they identified in 1968. So that's when our current rendition of the seasonal flu was first identified, and we can't get rid of it because it continues to evolve, okay? I'm going somewhere with this, y'all. Stay with me. It's a lot to explain, and I need to make sure you understand all the deets. COVID-19 has not gone away. That is why that pandemic was so scary and troubling, because we don't know what it could be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, et cetera, et cetera. Just like the seasonal flu was something we identified in 1968, and it keeps evolving. That's why they tell you to get a flu shot every fall. It's not the same flu shot you get every fall. It's a flu shot that we are developing that we hope our vaccination to the seasonal flu, the one first identified in 1968, whatever vaccine is made available that fall, we hope will defend you against the evolution of the 1968 flu. You got it? Good. Have you heard of this thing called the bird flu? The avian flu. You might have heard of it. So I brought up eggs a little while ago. It's a flu that birds get sick and birds die, and chickens, because, chickens live in close quarters. So bird flu is problematic because it kills our chickens. And right now, there are cases of the bird flu, and egg prices are going up. Okay? Well, bird flu, the avian flu, is evolving. And it jumps from chickens to cows. That's the problem. Now, we also had some speculation about where COVID came from. Did it come from a bat in the wet market? I believe that it originated somewhere in the animal kingdom and it jumped. All right? Avian flu is pretty much the same thing. So when I first was made aware that the avian flu, the bird flu, jumped from chickens to cows last year, I was like, I need to watch this. And will it jump to another mammal? So the problem with that is if a strain of flu exists in a bird, which is not a mammal, and then that virus, which is very elegant, can evolve and jump to mammals, it is a matter of time before it gets to humans. Very, very similar to COVID-19. In fact, there are some strains of the bird flu that they are saying are an evolution of COVID, which also made the jump from the animal kingdom to human beings. From Forbes magazine, there's a saying that those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. That will be the case with the H5N1 avian influenza virus that's been spreading amongst birds for years. It jumped to dairy cattle last year and appeared in a pig in November of 2024. It's hindsight, not 2020. Are we seeing the same mistakes we made with H5N1 bird flu that we did during the COVID-19 pandemic? Or is the H5N1 virus situation now different enough from the severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2 pandemic that we don't have to worry about the P word as in pandemic at this time? And this was an article that was written December 2nd of 2024. Well, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention currently list the public health risk of bird flu as low. Now, this was in December of last year, but there is no guarantee that it will stay that way forever. So when I read this article last year, I was like, okay, well, Kamala Harris is not going to she lost the election because this is December of last year. Now what happens to the Department of Health and Human Services and the National Institutes for Health and how the next administration, the Trump administration, is going to track these things? Stay tuned, and I'm going to tell you how. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be back shortly.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Truth Nation, get ready to celebrate excellence, passion, and the power of community as we host our first annual Truth Community Awards on Friday, February 28th at Potawatomi Casino and Hotel. This will be a Truth family party where we will celebrate the unsung heroes of our community and we roll out the red carpet for those making a positive impact every day. Tickets are selling fast, so go to 1017thetruth.com today to make sure you do not miss out on the biggest celebration in Milwaukee. Tickets are only $25 and includes free food, free drinks, and free Truth giveaways. Don't miss an evening filled with entertainment, heartfelt stories, and celebrating our city with the 1017 The Truth team. Visit 1017thetruth.com right now to buy your tickets to our Truth Community Awards. That is 1017thetruth.com to secure your spot for a night of celebrating the excellence of our community. The Truth Community Awards is presented by Potawatomi Casino and Hotel and brought to you by the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He has inspired generations of change leaders, and many more are to come. Let's celebrate his legacy by enjoying incredible speeches by Milwaukee Milwaukee Public Schools students.
Let me take you all back to March 3rd, 1991, and introduce you to a man named Rodney King. He was beaten by the Los Angeles Police Department during his arrest for driving while intoxicated. Now let me take you back to May 25th, 2020, nearly 30 years later, and introduce you to a man named George Floyd, who died because of police brutality. The nation stood by in shock. How can we work towards a world of peace when things that happened 30 years ago are still happening today? All of us here today must stand up and reject the racism and violence that we see daily, so that we can work towards a world of peace and make the world a better place for future generations. Everyone that witnesses police brutality needs to speak up and say something. If you hear someone using racist rhetoric, you must say something. If you see someone treating others unfairly, you must say something. If you see any type of discrimination, you must say something. This is the only way we can truly work towards a world of peace. It starts with each and every one of us here today and speaking up and not silencing our voices. Can everyone here today repeat after me? I will speak up. I will not be silent. I will make a difference. I am peace. Thank you.
Marcus Performing Arts Center and We Energies are proud to sponsor the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Speech Contest and pleased to share these extraordinary student speeches with you. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
So I've been monitoring the bird flu just because the pandemic was such a problem for so long and it screwed everything up, and we ran out of toilet paper and our supply chains were screwed up and a bunch of people were dying. I was like, well, let's keep an eye on where the next pandemic may come from. And if there is a virus that has been identified in an animal, let's see if it jumps from one animal to another animal, because then it's just a matter of time before it infects human populations. And the thing about viruses is they love human beings because we are a species that is in close proximity to one another. Human beings, we're close to each other and we're affectionate. We touch each other, we hug each other, we drink out of our glasses of our friends and our family. We do all of those things. That's why viruses love us, because it's extremely easy to spread these viruses. And in the wintertime, because a lot of people think like, oh, it's the cold weather that gets you sick. There's some evidence that regulating body temperature when your body is colder, that your immune system is a little bit weaker, but it's mostly because in the wintertime we're indoors more and our respiratory tract is drier, which does not assist us in clearing germs and viruses, et cetera, right? But it's because we're inside in the wintertime. We're in even closer proximity, and you're touching door handles and you're touching keyboards and computer screens and all this other stuff, so it makes it easier for these viruses to spread. And viruses they love that. They love to join the party. On October 30th, 2024, the first reported United States case of H5N1 influenza or bird flu in a pig was reported in Oregon. So it went from birds to a cow, now to pigs. Now this virus is mutating and evolving to be in mammals. Pigs are a particular concern because they are in extreme close proximity to one another as well. And then farmers that have pigs, if the strain of virus evolved from birds, and then it went to cows, and now it is in pigs, the next mammal that could potentially see the evolution of this identified H5N1 influenza virus will be a human being. So now you really got to start watching to see if there are any cases of the H5N1 influenza that appears in humans, because that means the virus is getting smarter. What I'm explaining to you is all the information that I learned personally about how pandemics spread. They can occur just naturally in nature. They can be grown in labs. They also can start in an animal. And then the virus gets smarter and it evolves just like human beings evolve, just like everything else evolves. And it can jump from a non-mammal to a mammal, which means if the virus continues, it eventually will make its way to humans. Then we have a problem. On October 30th, 2024, the first reported United States case of H5N1 influenza or bird flu in a pig was reported in Oregon. Michigan medicine virologist Adam Loring, medical doctor and PhD, spoke out about the implications of that case and whether a new pandemic could be on the horizon. And this is from November of last year. All flu viruses are essentially avian flu viruses. Every now and again, they make it into mammals and or people. The ones that succeed can cause a pandemic and go on to become circulating and seasonal flu viruses or worse. For example, H3N2 virus caused a 1968 pandemic, and we've been dealing with that as seasonal flu ever since then. In 2009, H1N1 spilled over from pigs, and is now also a seasonal flu virus. For the past couple of years, H5N1 has been circulating in wild and domestic birds, and it too has spilled over into mammals, including cows, minks, and other animals, including marine animals. Well, from Johns Hopkins School of Public Health, on January 6th, 2025. Clearly, we were paying attention to other things on January 6, 2025, as that was a day in which we were commemorating and remembering that infamous day that took place on January 6, 2021. January 6, 2025, the Louisiana Department of Health announced that a patient hospitalized the previous month for H5N1 avian flu has died. It started as bird flu. It evolved, and then it impacted and affected cows. And then H5N1 evolved again and infected pigs. And on January 6th of this year, just literally, 3 weeks ago, a little less than 3 weeks ago, it has now evolved into humans, and we have our first death. We are better able to track these viruses now because of all that we learned from COVID. Now, I'm not saying that this individual that died from this evolving virus that started out as bird flu, then went to cows, then evolved to infect pigs, and now we have our first human death because of it. I'm not saying this is going to evolve into the next pandemic because we have the National Institutes of Health. We have the Department of Health and Human Services that keeps their eye. We also have we used to have a pandemic playbook, which Barack Obama handed over to Donald Trump. And what did Donald Trump do? He threw it away. But we've learned all those lessons, right? We saw what COVID did. So if we can identify a virus that started off in a chicken, and then the virus evolved to infect a cow, and then the virus evolved to affect another kind of mammal, a pig, and now we have our first human death from the virus. Well, now we got to be a little more proactive, and we start getting information out to the people via the new presidential administration. From the Washington Post, health researchers alarmed as Trump administration pauses travel and communications. No meetings of cancer researchers to discuss issuing new federal grants. No scientific reports on lessons from fighting the avian flu. Not even private briefings for congressional staffers who have questions about health agency operations. Health officials and experts said this week that they are reeling after the new Trump administration said on Tuesday they abruptly halted external communication of the Department of Health and Human Services. So the department that we need to spread information and knowledge about this evolving avian flu is essentially shut down under Trump. Here we go again. Exact same thing. It couldn't be more perfect. Another potential pandemic with another Trump administration taking shape. Remember, the first pandemic rocked the black community. We were the first 2 deaths in Milwaukee County, and that was not just random. We cannot trust the Trump administration to handle, I'm not going to call it the P word yet, to handle an outbreak of an infectious virus that has already claimed a human life. We cannot trust them. We cannot handle them because we know what happened with the conversation about vaccines. Remember when he told us to drink the bleach or inject the bleach? Remember that? Well, that guy that said that stupid stuff, guess what? You elected him again. And we potentially have another deadly virus that is now killing human beings. I'm going to take a break, come back. Going to pick it up on the other side. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be back shortly.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
On Friday night, the Milwaukee Panthers continue their road trip as they take on their Horizon League Conference rival, the Northern Kentucky Norse.
He's on, finds Stillwell, pitch at forecourt, Lovelace is open, Johnny goes up, Lovelace throws it down, and now Robert Morris will take a timeout. Listen to the crowd.
Scott Warris has the coverage Friday starting at 5:30 p.m. on 101.7 The Truth and the Milwaukee Panthers Sports Network from Learfield. Tip-off happens at 6 o'clock.
This is Sherwin Hughes from 101.7 The Truth for Axe Housing. Are you tired of paying a landlord rent when you should be paying yourself? Do you want to leave a financial legacy, or would you like to have a stable place to call home? Well, it's time for you to start on the path to owning your own home instead of renting. You can work with an Axe Housing coach, and they will teach you how home ownership can be a reality. Axe Housing has helped over 4,000 families in our neighborhoods. Many times your mortgage will be a lot less than what you're paying for rent. As an average Axe family who has been helped pays around $900 per month. No matter what barriers you think you're facing, Axe Housing coaches can assist you right now. An Axe Housing coach will help you create and stick to a plan and a budget and get you ready for home ownership. If you're not dreaming of home ownership by now, you certainly should be. Let's make it a reality with Axe Housing. Get started on a virtual orientation by clicking on axhousing.org. That is ACTS housing.org. Don't let where you are financially right now get in the way of your very bright future of becoming a homeowner. Axe coaches are here to help.
Who's looking for a deal? Well, Cousin Subs has a better deal just for you. Cousin's new $10 meal deals are now available online only. Choose between a 7.5-inch ham and provolone, turkey breast, or veggie sub, a bag of chips or regular fry, a regular fountain beverage, and cookie at cousinsubs.com or on the mobile app for just $10. Now that's a better deal. Cousin Subs, we believe in better. Available at participating locations only. Offer subject to change without notice.
American Family Insurance is a lot like Captain America. He protects the world.
It's just doing my job.
And we help protect your dreams with amazing auto and home coverage. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com. And see Marvel Studios' Captain America: Brave New World.
Suit up. We need to move.
In theaters February 14th. This film is not yet rated.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
The Greater Milwaukee Urban League is celebrating 105 years of legacy and impact. The 105th year milestone community engagement campaign is a mission-driven effort to support employment, education, advocacy, and entrepreneurship initiatives. Together, they can continue their impact and legacy. Join them in raising $1.5 million. Text 105 to 41444 to make a secure online donation today. Visit tmul.org for more information.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
From the CDC, January 6, 2025, the CDC is saddened by Louisiana's reported case that a person previously hospitalized with severe avian influenza A, H5N1 illness, H5N1 bird flu has in fact passed away. While tragic, a death from H5N1 bird flu in the United States is not unexpected because of the known potential for infection with these viruses to cause severe illness and death. Now, we also got to keep in mind, when we saw the jump from chickens to cows to pigs to a human being going back last fall. While we were all so consumed with the presidential contest, the Biden administration still had individuals at the Department of Health and Human Services that were monitoring it, okay? And even up until this letter, January 6, 2025, the Trump administration had not yet taken root in Washington, D.C. So it's still Trump administration people that are monitoring this death of an individual with the H5N1 bird flu. The CDC has carefully studied the available information about the person who died in Louisiana and continues to assess that risk to the general public, and right now the risk remains low. It remained low because of how vigilant the CDC is when it comes to the Biden administration, how closely they work with the National Institutes of Health and the Department of Health and Human Services, in which Joe Biden had a cabinet selection. So we were okay, because one thing Democrats do better than Republicans is pandemic stuff. Ebola never left Africa because of the Obama administration. And they prided themselves on that. And actually, we should have given more credit to the Obama administration, because Ebola would have rocked this country to its core. But they got out ahead of it. So you monitor these things. If there's something that's in the animal kingdom and it jumps to another mammal, that is when you send people to travel. People from the Health and Human Services Department, they'll go to those other countries. They'll put on their hazmat suits and they'll get blood samples and they'll do all sorts of microbiology things, because they study those infections in those other countries to figure out what we can do to protect ourselves from it here in the United States. And a lot of times they can come up with vaccine ideas before those viruses and those illnesses even come to the United States. That's how you get out ahead of it. But the Trump administration has halted travel of people in Health and Human Services to go and investigate some of these other viruses that are in existence as well, not just this one. Now, this one is almost too late because it's already in human beings and we have a reported death. I just don't trust the Trump administration in handling any kind of communicable infectious disease in this country. And let me give you an example why. Joe Biden took a lot of heat because he gave a bunch of blanket pardons his last day in office. A lot of the people that were, not a lot, all the people that were investigating Donald Trump for his January 6th activities, so Liz Cheney, Representative Benny Thompson from Mississippi, Senator Adam Schiff in California, because Trump said he was going to go after those people because they investigated him. So Joe Biden gave those individuals that were involved in doing their jobs and investigating what happened on January 6th, therefore investigating Donald Trump, Biden gave them blanket pardons because we know that Donald Trump was going to send his Department of Justice after those individuals and try and prosecute them for trying to prosecute Trump, okay? Do you know who else got a blanket pardon? And when I heard this, it blew my mind, and it scared me a little bit. Dr. Anthony Fauci. Donald Trump, listen to me now, Donald Trump wanted to put Dr. Anthony Fauci in federal prison, because Dr. Anthony Fauci provided us the best information that he could via the National Institutes of Health about COVID. He gave press conferences. He was on TV all the time because he is the nation's foremost expert on infectious and communicable diseases. In fact, Joe Biden gave Dr. Anthony Fauci not just a blanket pardon because Trump wanted to put him in jail for, trying to spread proper information and protective information during COVID. Joe Biden gave him a Presidential Medal of Freedom. Have you guys seen these commercials for HIV PrEP? And you can get to and stay at, they say, undetectable. I mean, you know what that is. That's essentially a cure for AIDS. If you don't have it, you literally can prevent it. If you were in a population that might have high HIV susceptibility, you can literally take medications that have been developed where you will not get HIV AIDS. Do y'all remember back in the late 80s and the early 90s when it was terrifying people? And then it made the jump because it was a gay disease. And Ronald Reagan just left it as a gay disease. He didn't get out ahead of it. Again, Republicans don't do well with things that could be pandemics. And I would say for a period of time, HIV/AIDS was, in fact, a pandemic. And then it made the jump from the homosexual populations into the heterosexual populations. Magic Johnson is an example of that. The reason why we damn near have a cure or HIV/AIDS is preventable is because of Dr. Anthony Fauci and Donald Trump wanted to put him in jail because he, Anthony Fauci, was giving Americans proper information about COVID-19. And opposed to Trump that said, if you just drink some bleach and the COVID will go away. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We'll be back for hour 2.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
1017 The Truth is now the proud home of Milwaukee Public Schools City Conference basketball. Tune in every week so you don't miss out on the classic rivalry game we all love, the high-flying dunks that leave us in awe, and the memorable moments where Milwaukee basketball legends are born. City Conference basketball on 1017 The Truth is sponsored by Milwaukee Public Schools, MPS proud, and presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
It started with a prediction.
Gonna go out there and play basketball and win. And how many games? 6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture. Truth Nation, let us talk our ish for a moment. There is no other station in the country where you get a front row seat to hear from some of the biggest names in politics, pop culture, and sports. People like Grammy Award winner John Legend.
Knowing that fight isn't over, knowing that we've got to stay motivated and stay inspired. Glory was the song that myself and Common wrote. 2 brothers from the Midwest, from Chicago and from Springfield, Ohio.
Oscar Award winning actor Don Cheadle.
I know that we're the bright, shiny thing that sometimes gets the attention, but I would say don't listen to celebrities. You don't have to listen to us. Listen to yourself.
And President Donald Trump's son, Don Jr.
When did we have a strong economy? And I don't think anyone with a straight face can say right now. And the reality, when you look at it, it's not even voting for my father. Look at the team that's now surrounding him.
Tap into the award-winning and nationally recognized 1017 The Truth by downloading the Truth app and streaming us live at 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Milwaukee Black Talk.
Calling all big thinkers. The world's climate is changing. These aren't new facts, but it means we must think in new ways about how we can live, prosper, and provide energy for our world while protecting our planet. Engineers are answering the call to create cleaner, safer, reliable energy. Solar power, harnessing the power of the sun to light all corners of the globe. Wind power, channeling a simple breeze to bring electricity to our homes. Hydropower, using the natural flow of water to generate electricity. Nuclear power, engineering advanced reactors that are safer, more reliable, and produce zero carbon emissions. Engineers are leading the way and empowering the next generation. Engineers answer the call. Brought to you by the National Academy of Engineering. Learn more at nae.edu.
You're listening to the new 1017 The Truth, founded in partnership with American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, the Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Well, it appears that there is a new potential highly contagious and now deadly virus that is in our house. Oh, and the song is In My House by Mary Jane Girls. You see what I did there? Except this song is about a very different subject matter than the pandemic. So I had been keeping my eye on these cases of the avian flu last year because the way it was spreading through domestic chicken flocks, causing the price of eggs to fluctuate. So a lot of y'all that was complaining about the price of eggs, and I, of course, have made fun of y'all, like, oh, you're voting for Trump because eggs are expensive. And eggs did get expensive, but it wasn't Joe Biden inflation. That is why knowledge is so incredibly important. There are some people that thought that, oh, Joe Biden made eggs more expensive. Joe Biden inflation, Bidenomics, it didn't work, something eggs, right? No, it was the bird flu. That's why the eggs were expensive. And the Republican campaigns, they'll run with misinformation if it helps them get votes. If they look at something that is causing a problem amongst Americans, especially American consumers, oh, eggs are too expensive, the Republican strategists would say, let's blame Joe Biden for that. You know, he's the president. So it must be Joe Biden's fault. Oh, everything else is getting more expensive? It must be Joe Biden's economic plan, not corporations trying to gouge every penny out of our pockets. No, it couldn't be that. So you have the Democrats that want to put together a piece of legislation that stops corporate price gouging. That was the real problem. And then you had the Trump campaign saying, oh, we're going to lower inflation. So the Trump campaign knew, and they know, they all have the same information. But how you spin information is what the parties do that separately. And that's why people hate politics, because you do get lied to. Because if I told you the truth, it may not impact you the same way. If I told you the truth, if the Trump campaign told you the truth, you probably would have voted for Kamala Harris. But if I can lie to you and manipulate you, then that's what I'm going to do. They have no motivation to tell you the truth. They want to win an election. Now, both sides do this. But in situations when it came to what was plaguing Americans most, the economy and high prices, the Democrats were actually being honest with you. But the Republicans and the Trump campaign did such a fantastic job of discrediting Joe Biden, and he was easy to discredit because he had that bad debate performance. And Joe Biden he's an old guy, and he mumbles and meanders, and he stutters, and every now and again he just falls. Joe Biden fell a lot. I don't know if you guys know that. He fell down all the time. He fell downstairs. He fell upstairs. There was one thing I was watching, and Joe Biden was sitting on a bike, and he just fell over. The bike wasn't even moving. So anything that comes out of an administration of an old, feeble, sad man that falls all the time, you can just blame him for everything. Because people look at a president's virility, and I think that they associate that with their honesty. And people keep saying, oh, we like Trump because he speaks his mind. He's honest. He'll tell it like it is. Trump is lying to you. But because of his bravado, it seems like he's being honest and telling you like it is. No, he's lying to you. Trump is a reckless salesman that will tell you anything. He'll tell you that this sea moss cures cancer. And we eat it up. But it was all a lie. And where we are going to hurt is when his administration that is responsible for the health and the well-being of this country, when they still continue to lie. In fact, they didn't like people. The Trump administration didn't like people that told the truth because they wanted the truth about what happened with those classified documents. Trump didn't like that. They wanted the truth about what happened in Georgia when Trump made that call to that Secretary of State looking for 11,779 votes. People wanted the truth about what happened on January 6th. And what did Donald Trump do? He tried to prosecute and go after and ruin the reputations of people that told the truth. If, in fact, Donald Trump was innocent of all of the things in which he was accused, okay, he would welcome the investigation. If you get accused of killing somebody, don't you want the investigation if you didn't kill them? If they just accuse you of murdering somebody and you didn't murder that person at all, you weren't even in the same city as that person that got murdered, but they're accusing you. You've been named as a suspect in so-and-so's murder, and you didn't do it, and you know you didn't do it, and you have an alibi and all of the things. You weren't even in the same city as the person that was murdered, but they're accusing you. Don't you want the investigation to prove your innocence? Trump didn't want the investigations. In fact, he wanted to go after the people that were trying to provide the American people the truth. And as much commentary as I had and as much, editorial as I gave, that is what I was trying to get to the heart of. There is a political party that is searching for the truth to provide it to the American people, because that's the least you can do. Whenever we identify corruption in our government, don't you want to know the truth about it, where it's coming from, who's doing, and how we can root it out, how we can punish it, how we can extinguish it? There was one political party that was actually trying to do that, and there was another political party that just wanted to call the people who were truth seekers liars. And here's why this is important. Because if an administration that seeks to punish truth seekers gets in power, they will continue to do so. There were members of the media that wanted to tell the truth about what's happening in the Trump administration, about Jared Kushner getting these multi-billion-dollar cash contracts from the Saudis, which nobody said anything about that, but Hunter Biden gets $300,000 from Burisma, and y'all have a damn fit. Trump was in so much trouble that the Republican Party that should be making policy to help improve people's lives, to help invest in education, to help Joe Biden invest more in infrastructure, to do all the things that this country needs, right? They focused on Joe Biden's coke-addicted son. That was a story. And it was a story that went on for I don't know how many years. And I'm not over here throwing a whole bunch of sympathy for Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden lost two siblings. He lost his brother, Beau, to brain cancer. Beau Biden would be president right now, by the way. Actually, it would be a Beau Biden, Kamala Harris ticket, just an FYI, but that didn't happen. Hunter Biden lost his brother, and then he lost another sibling in a car accident when Joe Biden's first wife was killed back in the early 1970s. Like, just think about like that trauma for a second. And some of the most wonderful people that I've met in my entire life that have suffered the most with addiction, a lot of them got addicted and tried substances to make themselves feel better because they were dealing with the loss of a family member. So we went after Hunter Biden, and people thought that they actually accomplished something because they went after Joe Biden's son, who had a drug problem, who was dealing with the loss of two of his siblings. We should be ashamed of ourselves. But that's what our politics has come down to. So fair enough, you got the apprentice star back in office. Congratulations. Well, now you got another pandemic. Probably not going to be worth it because the price of eggs clearly aren't getting cheaper now that Trump is in office. Why? Because of bird flu that has now hopped from birds to cows to pigs to humans. And that's how they gummed up the entire system. That is why the Harris campaign didn't have a chance. So we're not going to say, oh, Kamala should have did this. She should have did that. She should have yelled at us more. She should have told us to read Project 25. No. It wouldn't have mattered because the entire apparatus of how you communicate policy during a campaign was gummed up because of the history of lies of the Trump campaign and Donald Trump himself. The truth was never going to be able to see the light of day. Because if the truth did see the light of day, this is me being honest with y'all right now. This is not me even being partisan. If the truth was able to come to the light of day of all of the things that Trump was actually doing, the things that we don't even know about, and all of the reasons why he was investigated, if the truth was able to come to the American people, we would have made an informed decision about who to vote for. It wouldn't have mattered that Kamala Harris was black. It wouldn't have mattered she was part Asian. It wouldn't have mattered that she was a woman because she would have been the person representing the political party that was trying to give you the truth. Now, let me be clear about this too. Just because somebody gives you the truth does not mean you're going to believe it. And that's some honesty for you as well. We can provide you with the truth. That don't make you automatically believe it. But those who are here to provide nothing but the truth are doing their job. Whether you believe it or not doesn't make it false. If somebody tells you something that you don't like, that doesn't make it false. If somebody tells you something that's uncomfortable, that doesn't make it untrue. And if you opt not to believe it, that doesn't make it untrue. It makes you a non-believer. In 2024, there was a holy cow moment when dairy cattle began getting infected. That showed the virus's ability to mutate to the point that it could jump to other sets of animals. Since this bird flu was first detected among cattle in March of 2024, the virus had spread to at least 440 dairy herds in 15 U.S. states, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. The virus has been detected in cow's milk, including in raw milk from California, twice in the month of, this must be, what month is this? So November of last year is when they started noticing the precipitous spread in the 440 dairy herds in 15 U.S. states, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. The virus was also detected in cow's milk, including in raw milk from a California dairy farm. But at present, you don't really have to worry about catching the virus through drinking properly pasteurized milk or properly prepared beef like hamburgers. So y'all that was eating the cannibal sandwiches, y'all could have got you a little taste of the bird flu. Remember did we talk about it here? I think we might have the cannibal sandwiches that it's very, let's just say, culturally specific, where people take raw beef and they put it on a piece of rye bread and put salt and pepper on it and some raw onion. Yeah, stop eating that. Because that's how you can spread this damn virus into human beings. All right, what does it got here? This doesn't necessarily make the spread of the virus among cows a nothing burger. I hate the humor they use in Forbes. Then there was the pig event on October 30th, 2024. This was when the U.S. Department of Agriculture reported for the first time the first case of H5N1 in a U.S. pig. This was in a pig on a backyard farm in Oregon. Such an announcement sowed even bigger concerns. That's not because the thought of a coughing pig is any more disturbing than that of a coughing cow. It's because the influenza viruses tend to swap their genetic material with each other and more readily and faster in pigs than in birds. Such swapping is called genetic reassortment, and it can result in viruses with completely new combinations of genetic material. New combinations of genetic materials can result in the viruses having more capabilities, which could at some point result in a virus that can spread to and among even other species like humans. It's important to remember that a series of reassortment events in pigs is what led to the 2009 influenza H1N1 pandemic. These pig events resulted in a version of the H1N1 influenza virus that could jump and spread among animals and humans back in 2009. That pandemic led to an estimated 60.8 million cases, 274,304 hospitalizations, and 12,469 deaths in America, and an estimated 284,400 deaths worldwide. That wasn't nearly as bad as what COVID-19 did, resulting in over 1.2 million deaths in the U.S. and over 7 million deaths worldwide, along with a long list of COVID cases and counting. Don't assume, though, that any new novel influenza virus would be an exact repeat of 2009 if it were to jump and spread to humans. The world got lucky in 2009 because H1N1 virus resembled a strain that older people had been exposed to in a previous pandemic. That meant that many older folks had already gotten some degree of protection. We're seeing signs that this virus is really moving into humans now. There was an infection in a person in Louisiana who apparently acquired the infection because he had a backyard flock of chickens that had become exposed to wild birds. The chickens the person was raising, as well as wild birds, were found dead. The person who was exposed to H5N1 was hospitalized and died from the infection. That wasn't serious enough, though. When the CDC scientists sequenced samples from this individual, they found that the virus had started to mutate at two particular sites that we know are important for H5N1 to adapt to better replicate in people. This mirrors the case that happened about 2 months ago in British Columbia. They need to double down on their efforts to make sure that we limit H5N1 infections in humans and try to lower the opportunity for this virus to learn how to infect humans. So this comes from Johns Hopkins School of Public Health, and this article was published just a couple of weeks ago. Well, now the Trump administration is in office, okay? And so we have what we could get out ahead of. We already have a human death, so we're a little late. But there are things that we can do to be proactive in informing Americans so that we can mitigate the spread, because we did it before. I didn't even know there was a pandemic in 2009. Why? Because Barack Obama was president and they got out ahead of it. There were 12,000 deaths from that pandemic in 2009, which is very low compared to how many people died during COVID. 1.2 million Americans died in COVID because the response was botched. And guess who was in office? You know who? The guy that just walked back into office on Monday. From the Washington Post, today's Washington Post, no meetings of cancer researchers to discuss issuing new federal grants, no scientific reports on lessons from fighting the avian flu, not even private briefings for congressional staffers who have questions about health agency operations. Health officials and experts said this week they're reeling after the new Trump administration said on Tuesday abruptly halted external communication at the Department of Health and Human Services and its agencies, including the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and the National Institutes of Health. The Trump administration is stopping these very important agencies from sharing information while we have recorded our first human death from H5N1 in the last 2 weeks. The pause extends through February 1st, according to a memo obtained by the Washington Post. The Trump administration has also issued a second order indefinitely halting travel of HHS personnel, according to a second memo obtained by the Post. So when you travel means, okay, we have an outbreak of the bird flu in Oklahoma. Let's send some HHS staff down there to see what's going on, collect some samples, and get them back to the lab. Trump has halted their travel. Do you see what is happening here? Now, I could go into a rabbit hole, but I don't want to steal any thunder from Benjamin. You all know who dies first and who is more morbidly impacted by a pandemic, right? You know that. I don't got to tell you that, right? So if you know that those people are more likely, those that have the comorbidities, those that don't culturally prioritize their health, you know those individuals who might live in multi-generational homes, you know those people who live in communities that have fewer healthcare resources. I mean, and you know those people that live in neighborhoods where they have fewer public transportation options to even get to a healthcare clinic. You know that those people get wiped out when there's a pandemic, right? Remember when I said you have to kill black people without us knowing? If you are the marionette and the puppet master and you can watch a pandemic spread and you see and know who is going to impact most and hardest, then you let it spread to them. The Trump administration is probably already vaccinated for this because it's a part of national security, you know. Trump got vaccinated last time. So he admitted it. You guys remember when Trump admitted and then he finally told people to get vaccinated? Now, apparently Trump had, quote unquote, he had COVID. I think that was a stunt. I don't think he actually had COVID. But when he came out and finally admitted that he got vaccinated, he had already been vaccinated. So when he came out publicly and said, you need to get the vaccine, you need to get, and a bunch of right-wingers were mad at him because they wanted him to stay pure. Don't get the jab, Trump. When Trump came out and publicly said he got vaccinated, he had, listen to me, listen, come in close to the radio. He had been vaccinated. When he delivers the remarks to tell the American people he had been vaccinated, that doesn't mean he was vaccinated that day. That was just the day he told us. He had probably been vaccinated for months. I'm going to take a break, come back, talk to a known conspiracy theorist, Brian. Rick, any idea what Brian wants to talk about? Okay. We'll handle that on the other side. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
It's Dr. Ken Harris, and you can watch me now live on YouTube every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m., and you can watch the best radio show in Wisconsin by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Watch me explore the issues which are shaping our community while also having fun discussions, pop culture, current events, all kind of stuff going on right here on YouTube right now by subscribing to 1017 The Truth. Milwaukee Black Talk is now streaming live on YouTube. It's 101.7 The Truth's Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Happy New Year means a lot of rough days ahead for those who suffer from seasonal affective disorder. Plenty of gray, frigid days on the horizon where we all just want to be snugly and warm at home. That's where Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin comes in. Their inviting doors welcome friends and family into a cozy home thanks to Pella's gorgeous, energy-efficient windows, keeping the cold out. Pella can make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Visit Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin showroom today so you can learn the Pella difference and get inspired on making your home more energy efficient and beautiful with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Hurry, you only have until January 31st to score Pella's New Year's special. 0% interest for up to 3 years. Certain restrictions apply. Visit PellaWI.com.
The Greater Milwaukee Urban League is celebrating 105 years of legacy and impact. The 105th year milestone community engagement campaign is a mission-driven effort to support employment, education, advocacy, and entrepreneurship initiatives. Together, they can continue their impact and legacy. Join them in raising $1.5 million. Text 105 to 41444 to make a secure online donation today. Visit tmul.org for more information.
Associated Bank knows your small business isn't just a venture. It's your dream and a vital part of the community. And we're not just a bank. We're your neighbors. We're looking out for you. That's why Associated Bank offers quick online applications and approvals with funding in as fast as one business day, checking with no minimum balances or maintenance fees, and prompt customer service. Explore our products at associatedbank.com/business or visit a branch for more details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
From my family and myself, I would like to say thank you to Gruber Law Offices for taking such good care of us.
I would say thank you because you were so human and so much of a friend during the whole process.
I'm super grateful for them representing me and doing all that they did for me.
I would just say thank you for making me feel better.
That's why I'm here, to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Hey boy, would you meet me on the roof tonight? I got a surprise for you.
833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. Let's talk to Brian. You're on 1017 The Truth. How are you?
Oh, I'm pretty good. And you?
Doing all right.
Yeah, that's good. I guess these researchers that do all this research must be filthy rich. Would you think, since they get all these millions and millions of dollars every year from grants and the government and what have you? Wouldn't you think they'd be
they make what a PhD virologist probably makes, whatever that salary is. It's not millions and millions of dollars, probably somewhere in the six figures. But we pay them because of their aptitude in understanding complex diseases and viruses and microbiology. They deserve the salaries that they get. They're not overpaid.
Well, I would think that they should be well paid with their millions and millions of dollars that they're given every year to come up with no solutions.
Brian, do you understand that research? I want you to do some research. I want you to understand that, like, if Pfizer comes out with a drug that maybe, I don't know, does something for obesity or helps cancer patients, they have to spend billions, tens of billions of dollars for decades to come up with these drugs. So when you think these agencies and these science, Brian, hold on, I got to explain something. This is important now. When these agencies get these millions and millions of dollars, that don't go into the pockets of the researchers and the scientists. It goes to the research. So let's not confuse the two.
The research itself, a microscope and fluids and substances, correct? How expensive is that to find or use or
I'm actually having a conversation with a real human being. Do you know what kind of equipment and electron microscopes they have to have, and equipment that we don't even know anything about? We know nothing about.
I know about microscopes.
Okay, then go be a virologist, Brian.
No,
you're not actually. You're just like poking fun, right? You're not being.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
No, man, I'm just saying that's a lot of money for things that they already have the equipment for. It's not like somebody's making these things every year that you have to keep paying this amount of money every year.
Not,
these
like
things
an auto
have been
shop.
around since
This is not an auto shop where they just buy like a tire rotator machine and then it's good for the next 30 years. They may have to upgrade their equipment and upgrade the software that can detect viruses and biology every 6 months. You're speaking out of school, basically. But you're also a Trump supporter, so this all tracks.
No, not really. Not really.
What are you talking about? You were proud to be a Trump supporter. Y'all forget, I got y'all recorded. When you call our shows and talk about how much you love Trump, y'all know that we have that, right? You can't be, that's not me. I didn't say that. Yes, you did.
No, I'm not saying that. I supported Trump. Yeah, I support a lot of things that he stands for. But I also supported Kamala. I voted for her.
No, you didn't. Oh, ain't
because
no
she
way.
just had that. I voted for her.
No,
she just won my heart. Yeah, she won my heart for some reason, but she did it. She's a good lady, seriously. But that don't stop my politics, and that don't stop my economics. But I just like her, and that's why I voted for her.
Here's what's crazy, Brian. You're not the first person that said this, right? So we got all y'all that called in, and some of y'all posted on social media, oh, Trump 2024, we love Trump. Trump gets in, and on day one, he takes away not just affirmative action, but now this country can discriminate against black people. And now all of y'all that was pro-Trump is like, well, I know I actually voted for Kamala. Every last one of y'all are backtracking. Don't backtrack now.
No, I ain't I said this before it even happened. So I ain't backtracking nowhere. I've been said this. Yeah, I've been said I voted for Kamala. But affirmative action didn't go away. You just have to try it in court, case by case basis.
You can't be serious, right? You know the Supreme Court overturned it last year. Get off the. I can't talk to you. I can't stand talking to grown people that should know this information. Like, where was you at, dude? Are we not doing a good enough job here on 101.7 The Truth? Affirmative action is not just illegal, it is unconstitutional. That was the first thing they overturned. Once they got Roe, didn't I tell y'all this? If they could overturn Roe, and the reason why they did that, it's not that they care about abortion, because that would be the toughest constitutional protection to overturn because it affects so many people. The right to health care, privacy, and to get an abortion affects the largest voting bloc in the country, so they experimented. They experimented to see if they could overturn that, then every other constitutional protection would be easier. Now they're going after birthright citizenship. Do you know that the hardcore right didn't even care about abortion? They made abortion their issue in 1979. They made it an emotional issue because what Republicans were running on in the 1970s wasn't something to organize around. And so they manufactured being upset about abortion. When Roe versus Wade was made constitutional, Republicans supported it. But they used the issue and they turned it emotional to say, Democrats want to kill your babies. The only reason why Republicans are, this is the history of this now. And again, you don't have to believe it. It's true. If you don't believe it, it just makes you a non-believer. Republicans needed an issue that they could organize people around. They were losing in the 1970s. They had a bad go of it because Nixon was a crook. Nixon had Watergate. Nixon was getting impeached. Nixon resigned, okay? Gerald Ford didn't get reelected. Jimmy Carter got elected. The Republicans like, we need something that we can organize people. Let's manufacture an emotional issue. And you know what they came up with? They said, let's tell people that Democrats support killing babies, and we're going to organize people, Christian people that want to protect the sanctity of life. And it worked. And guess who got elected? Ronald Reagan. They needed to organize people in this country around an emotional issue. And you guys see how emotional issues get people fired up. If you have an emotional issue, it's easier to organize voters, even if you have to lie to them. An emotional issue would be Joe Biden stole the election. Look how emotional that issue got. Those people that went to the Capitol on January 6, 2021 weren't going there for policy. They were going there based on emotion. They fly Trump flags. That's not because they like Trump. Trump, they love him. Like, they literally love him. They took down American flags and put up Confederate flags, and they put up Trump flags. Because if you can get people emotional, you can completely control and manipulate them. And everybody knows that. Look at your last relationship. Thank you, Zach. Hey, Zach, look. Hey, Rick gone a long time, ain't he? Yeah, I told him. Water. Yeah, okay. He had a Hoppo from Mike's. That's what it is. I got to take a break. I'm going to come back and talk to Millicent and Gary on the other side. We are on I shouldn't say the verge of another pandemic, but we are monitoring the spread of bird flu, H5N1, which started in birds, migrated to cows. We should have been watching it closely then because now it's jumping to mammals, and then went from cows to pigs, and then went from pigs to human beings. And the first death from H5N1 in a human being took place on January 6, 2025. So now that virus that migrated from birds is now impacting humans. Now, it's not the end of the world, but if we have an administration that prioritizes public health, Robert Kennedy Jr. is an anti-vaxxer, and he's going to lead HHS during a time where we have human deaths from bird flu. I need you to just think about that now. And some of y'all voted for cheaper eggs. Do you know why eggs were expensive? Because chickens were dying from bird flu. And that same bird flu that made your eggs expensive, you blame the expensive eggs on Bidenomics and Biden's inflation, and the Trump campaign told you it was Joe Biden's fault. The Trump campaign knew that it was bird flu that was making our eggs more expensive because chickens were dying by the millions. And so there's less chickens, there's less eggs, the price of eggs is going to go up. Simple economics, okay? But they said, oh, eggs are going up. The Trump campaign was like, let's blame Joe Biden and people will eat it up. And they did. No, the eggs were more expensive because of the bird flu. And now that same bird flu that made your eggs more expensive just killed somebody in Louisiana. And it's only, what day is it? It's the first week of the Trump administration. Oh, we're going to have so much fun. Well, if there's any of you left, some of y'all going to die from the damn bird flu. I'm going to lose my listeners. I'm going to need y'all to mask up so you can stay alive and listen to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
What's up, Truth Nation? It's your girl, Noni Juice, here from my friends at Steinhafels. Start the new year off right with a new Tempur-Pedic mattress from Steinhafels. Discover the advanced, pressure-relieving power of a Tempur-Pedic, making aches and pains a thing of the past. Right now, you can get a new Tempur-Pedic mattress for just $52 per month when you use Steinhafels' 60-month financing. Plus, you get $300 in Steinhafels cash. Don't overpay for a good night's sleep. Steinhafels, your mattress destination. Shop in-store or online.
American Family Insurance is a lot like Captain America. He protects the world.
It's just doing my job.
And we help protect your dreams with amazing auto and home coverage. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com. And see Marvel Studios' Captain America: Brave New World.
Suit up. We need to move.
In theaters February 14th. This film is not yet rated.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Truth Nation, get ready to celebrate excellence, passion, and the power of community as we host our first annual Truth Community Awards on Friday, February 28th at Potawatomi Casino and Hotel. This will be a Truth family party where we will celebrate the unsung heroes of our community and we roll out the red carpet for those making a positive impact every day. Tickets are selling fast, so go to 1017thetruth.com today to make sure you do not miss out on the biggest celebration in Milwaukee. Tickets are only $25 and includes free food, free drinks, and free Truth giveaways. Don't miss an evening filled with entertainment, heartfelt stories, and celebrating our city with the 1017 The Truth team. Visit 1017thetruth.com right now to buy your tickets to our Truth Community Awards. That is 1017thetruth.com to secure your spot for a night of celebrating the excellence of our community. The Truth Community Awards is presented by Potawatomi Casino and Hotel and brought to you by the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
Dear employer,
my name is Phil Martin.
My name is Michael Raskovich.
Ronaldo Bird.
Zach Deiser. I am writing to express my excitement at the opportunity to join your team.
As someone on the spectrum, I possess a unique set of skills
that sets me apart from other candidates.
My detail-oriented nature allows me to communicate complex ideas,
to break down data,
to have no fear in meeting new people.
I may communicate in ways that are different from what you are used to.
Structure, routine,
and clear expectation.
Help me do my best work.
My autism allows me to have a perspective that needs to be seen and heard.
It allows me to make the world safer and improve systems in ways others can't.
It allows me to bring people's inner worlds to life with my artwork.
My autism
will bring your team important insights.
Thank you for your consideration.
An autistic inclusive workplace is good for business. It's time to make a change. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/win.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Our phone number is 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017.
In a world of confusion.
What'd you say, Alexander?
Only one thing we can rely on.
Only one thing we can rely on. Here comes the beat. Y'all don't know nothing about this. Y'all are terrible DJs if you don't know anything about this good music. Millicent, you're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
I am doing well. How are you this morning?
Doing okay. What's on your mind?
Good. The gentleman that called in and was talking about the price of how things for researchers, how much it costs, there's a lot of costs that just come from the fact that they have to do testing on humans and on animals. You got to pay for that. So when people don't think that things cost less than what they think, things cost more than what they think, it's because you have no knowledge about that. You're not a researcher. You really know nothing about research. You're just speaking off the top of your head without even knowing anything. So we need to stop that. That's part of the whole thing, too. And you are right about the bird flu. But Dr. Fauci was also the man that has been keeping Magic Johnson alive. Nobody knew that. That's why he never got sick.
How do you know that?
Yes.
Magic Johnson was an AIDS experiment, and it worked, whatever they did with Magic.
No, he wasn't an AIDS experiment. There were doctors that were in Europe in the 80s that were working diligently with it. Dr. Fauci got Magic Johnson into a study. For years, Magic Johnson flew back and forth to Europe, and that's why he's alive. So when people say Dr. Fauci doesn't know anything, he does.
Hold on a second, Millicent. Is this this is actual fact that Magic Johnson was in a study and flew back and forth?
Really? Magic Johnson, the reason Magic Johnson is still alive today, he was one of the first. And if you think back to the 80s, he was one of the first ones that never got sick. You've never seen him sick.
Yeah, I think he came out, he did a press conference in like 91. And
yep, he came out because he had a life insurance exam. They found he was HIV positive. The young lady that did his exam, her and her family was given over $1 million to keep it quiet.
Get out of here.
So, yes, Dr. Fauci has done a lot. There was a gentleman, and I want to say his last name was Taggart, but I might be wrong, but he opened up an AIDS hospital in D.C., and they had specialists flying into Washington, D.C. almost on a daily basis doing research for HIV, and Dr. Fauci was one of the leaders of
that. I knew. I did know that he was a leader in ultimately finding the preventative cure for HIV AIDS. But I didn't know that they was doing all that stuff with Magic. And you know what else is crazy? Whatever experimenting that they were doing, which clearly worked out because now Magic Johnson is alive and is living better than all of us, and he's a billionaire. Cookie never got it. His wife never tested positive for it. Because that's the first thing we worried about. I was like, uh-oh, Cookie's going to be dead.
Neither did either of the kids. None of the kids did either.
Oh, wait a minute.
And she was pregnant with that oldest boy when he came out.
Hang on a second, Millicent. You're confusing the hell out of me right now. So you mean to tell me that Magic Johnson was HIV positive, had children, his wife Cookie never got HIV, and the children that were born from Magic Johnson's semen never got AIDS? What?
HIV, never. But, of course, Dr. Fauci is stupid. He doesn't know nothing.
I wish they would have told us that Dr. Fauci is the one that saved Magic Johnson, and then more people probably would have, more black people probably would have believed.
And then, you know where else you have to go back to? Do you remember Ryan White? I don't know if people remember him.
I do.
He was a little boy from Indiana.
Little white kid.
Michael Jackson stepped up. Yes. He was in a research program that probably would have saved his life, But the state of Indiana, and I can't remember who the governor was now, stopped his Medicaid because he had paid out too much money to save him. That little boy could have lived. I'm not going to say he could have, but he might have.
Wow. Well, Millicent, this has been very eye-opening information.
Yeah, HIV, when it first came out, no one cared about it because it was gay men. And it wasn't until they found out that hemophiliacs were going to get it from blood transfusion.
That's right.
And you have so many Caucasians that are hemophiliacs that keep it a secret in their families that are very rich and powerful people. So they had to do something to stop that from being a curse on them. And that's when the research of HIV got really prominent. And they just started doing it. And then somebody like Magic Johnson stepped out, because when he stepped out that night, people were crying. I mean, if you were in a restaurant or anything, when he made that announcement, people were literally crying.
Oh, I remember. I was in high school when it happened. We thought the world was over.
Yep. And I was working in Washington at the time, and yes, everybody did. The way we treated those patients was terrible. Because we didn't know. We didn't know what it was.
Thank you, Millicent. You just gave us...
No, you're welcome. Dr. Fauci is very smart. Probably the smartest in this country.
And Joe Biden had to give him a blanket pardon because Donald Trump wanted to prosecute him for being honest about COVID. This is just so screwed.
Mess? And, this is my other thing. You know why he let those people out from January 6th? Because that's going to be his army to stay in office.
Yeah, I believe that.
Those are going to be the people fighting them so we don't ever have to have another election, another presidential election. But you all have a nice weekend.
Oh, thank you. That's very enlightening information you're leaving us with. We appreciate you. All right, then, Millicent. Didn't mean to hang up on her. Oh, yeah, here we go. A Tennessee Republican proposes amendment to allow Donald Trump to serve a third term. They're already working on it. Yeah, all this stuff tracks. So somebody, who said this in the YouTube chat? Miriam, am I saying your name right? Moriam or Miriam? Moriam. Tennessee lawmakers are pushing for a third term for the current president. So I saw that in the YouTube chat. Thank you, Moriam. And then I looked it up. They are pushing for a Trump third term in Tennessee. Good God. What have we done, y'all? And I got to say we, because we're all in this stuff together. I did the best I could. We all did here. Well, most of us here, 1017 The Truth, did all we could to provide as many perspectives as we could and answer a bunch of your questions and try and explain, why we had to go in the direction that I was pushing for us to go in as far as a presidential election so that we could prevent what we are about to see. Now, it wasn't enough, obviously, but I didn't say that the election was stolen by Trump. He lost. Or, I'm sorry, Kamala Harris lost. I'm like, okay, we're in this now. But I don't know if, in fact, I know that some of you that voted for Trump or didn't vote for Kamala Harris, maybe you voted a third party, maybe you didn't vote at all, but the people that did vote for Trump, the overwhelming majority of them didn't vote for this. You did not vote for what's coming. And so there is a level of sympathy that I have, but I can't feel too sorry for y'all because we're all in this damn thing together. The only thing that is going to be able to keep us somewhat protected, I can't say sane because we're all going to go nuts at some point, but somewhat protected is to know as much information as we possibly can. But what Millicent said tracks, because when we first heard about this mysterious illness that was killing gay men, and back then, like, it was the HIV, you weren't even diagnosed with HIV, you just got some mysterious illness and you withered away and died. And your immune system completely evaporated and you would get like the common cold, it would turn into pneumonia, and that's how you would die because HIV compromises your immune system. Human immuno something virus. And it leads, the syndrome that you get is called AIDS. But it compromises your immune system to where you cannot protect yourself even from just like somebody sneezes around you, and now you have, you get a cold, and that would kill you. And because it was killing gay men, nobody cared. So we let it. Ronald Reagan didn't mention AIDS until like 87. Like May of 1987, I think was the first time that Ronald Reagan even mentioned it. And it killed Arthur Ashe, Rock Hudson, Freddie Mercury, the singer of Queen. It was now starting to affect Hollywood and stars and celebrities. Do you guys remember, I'm going to be jogging your memories, MTV used to feature these animations when they would like go to commercial break. Well, those animations were drawn by a very famous artist named Keith Haring. He died of AIDS. When we found out the MTV artist that drew the commercial animations, that he died of AIDS, because now the entire MTV generation was impacted by it. In fact, the show The Real World featured castmate Pedro Zamora. They cast somebody with AIDS because this country was not ready to talk about it. We were not ready to discuss HIV/AIDS. And MTV was like, you know what? We are going to, because MTV lost their cartoonist to AIDS. They said, we're going to cast somebody who's HIV positive and put them in the house so Americans can see that you can still live with someone that has HIV/AIDS. You can touch the things that they touch. Because back then, you thought you could get it from shaking hands with somebody. Pedro Zamora ultimately died, but the awareness that MTV brought to my generation is absolutely profound. But it tracks, though, because back when we thought that HIV/AIDS was only killing gay people, nobody did anything about it because, oh, well, that's God's plan to eradicate the gays. And then once it started getting into heterosexual populations and Hollywood and stars and celebrities, then everybody panicked. Then Magic got it, of course. But COVID tracks the same way. These pandemics track the same way because they kill Black people and poor people first. That is why there's always this reservation on shipping vaccines to Black communities and why they encourage medical skepticism, because these pandemics kill Black people first. Just like HIV/AIDS used to kill gay people first, and nobody cared anything about it. Nobody said anything about it. Oh, maybe it'll eradicate them. That's why when these pandemics come, and I got the statistics that show Black people will be impacted more and will die sooner if there's another pandemic that comes to our shores. The avian flu has now made the jump from birds to cows to pigs to humans, and we've had our first human death in Louisiana. I do not know the race of that individual, but you probably could guess. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
The Truth app is home for all the Milwaukee Panther content you would want.
He'll dart baseline, and he will tomahawk it home with his right hand.
From conversations on the airwaves.
We're going to defend every board up the floor and every bounce and every pass. And we've got good depth, and you have to have good depth for the way we play.
To game highlights.
At the top, rises for three over Young and buries it.
Find The Roar on the Truth app, Apple, Spotify, and wherever else you get your podcasts to keep up with Panthers hoops.
The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King described a true education as one that successfully combines intelligence and character. Concordia University prepares learners for meaningful lives of leadership and service to meet all of life's callings. They offer world-class programs online and face-to-face in a faith-based, student-focused environment. Classes are small, opportunities endless. Visit cuw.edu to learn more. I'm 101.7 The Truth's Dr. Ken Harris, and I'll be at the MLK Prayer Breakfast at Concordia University, Wisconsin. And while this is an invitation-only event, I invite you to listen to the event live on The Truth, Saturday, February 1st from 10 a.m. till noon. The brunch at Concordia University, Wisconsin, hosted by Walter Goodwin, director of the Office of Multicultural Engagement, is a gathering honoring the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, a time of reflection and prayer. The theme of the brunch at Concordia University this year is Upon This Rock from Matthew 16:18. And I say also unto thee that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it.
All you have is one chance after an accident, one decision on who to call, one shot to get the help you need. Don't waste it on the one offer you get from your insurance company. Make the one call to Gruber Law Offices. It's the only one you'll need to make. Call us today. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Associated Bank knows your small business isn't just a venture. It's your dream and a vital part of the community. And we're not just a bank. We're your neighbors. We're looking out for you. That's why Associated Bank offers quick online applications and approvals with funding in as fast as one business day, checking with no minimum balances or maintenance fees, and prompt customer service. Explore our products at associatedbank.com/business or visit a branch for more details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Immerse yourself in a place where bold ideas are sought after, where all are encouraged to bring their personal flourish. Here, innovation is a way of life. In this city, the beat flows. Together, we're dancing to the rhythm. Forward. Now, it's your turn to grab hold of that energy, where you'll remember not just the meals, the celebrations, or the uncommon coast. What you'll remember is how we made you feel. Come experience Milwaukee, where fresh meets fearless every day.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
If you haven't done so already, go to youtube.com or open up your YouTube app from your smartphone or other mobile device. Search 1017 The Truth. Hit subscribe. And once you do that, you'll be able to view our live in-studio cameras and also participate in our YouTube chat. Also, if you ever miss a program, you can go back to YouTube and view any of the programs on our illustrious 1017 The Truth lineup. I was just letting folks know in the YouTube chat that on Monday, January 27th from 5:30 until 7:30, yours truly, that's right, me, I'll be... Rick, don't make that face.
Because I'm tired of you talking about it, but go ahead.
I don't care if you're tired of talking about it. I want people to know.
I'm going to be a bartender. Come tip me.
That's not, no.
Come tip me.
We're raising money for Axe Housing so we can have more homeowners in our community. 10% of all proceeds will go to Axe Housing. The Fister is donating 10% of all proceeds to Axe Housing. All of my tips, 100% of my tips, are going to Axe Housing. If you can't make the event, you can tip me virtually at axehousing.org/blue, axehousing.org/BLU.
Did you read Miss Shot comment?
No, I'm scared to. What's she talking about? Something freaky?
She wants you to make her a Long Island.
No. I got to get there at 5 o'clock, and they're going to train me on how to bartend for 30 minutes. I don't know how this is
to make
work.
a drink. Just mix it.
What's in Long Island is vodka, tequila, triple sec, and like a splash of Coke. I think I'm missing something. Nobody drinks those anymore. Linda, get into the 21st century.
Yes, they do. Yes,
nobody drink no damn Strong Islands. Only two things happen if you drink a Strong Island iced tea, and that's what we call them, Strong Islands. Two things. Pregnancy or jail. And maybe they happen both in the same night. That's one of the two things that's going to happen. You're going to get pregnant, you're going to go to jail that night.
You can do that with Hennessy. You don't need a...
Oh, Hennessy is just prison. Not even jail. Like Hennessy, you drink Hennessy, you're going upstate. Yeah, Hennessy is just, it makes felons on the daily.
Zach said Walpine.
Oh, yeah, you're going to Green Bay.
Damn,
what's the other one? Bonduel, there's one. Oshkosh has got a prison. Yeah, you drink.
That's what Oshkosh for, like sexual offenders, though, ain't it?
Hennessy, see there? hey, Judge, man, she looked at 18. Oh, what you mean? I'm getting 34 years. Come on, player. I just had a little bit of that Remy.
Remember Incredible Hulk?
I sure in the hell do. Hennessy and Alizé.
No, Hennessy and Hypnotic.
Hennessy and Hypnotic, that's right.
Hennessy and Alizé, I think, is...
Thug Passion.
Yeah, Thug Passion.
That's probably what killed Tupac, actually.
Wow.
Yeah. All those drinks. I don't even think they make Alizé anymore. It was really good. Alizé.
They still make it.
Cisco.
I don't remember that.
Cisco was a highly concentrated malt liquor that I think... Did Ice Cube and Yo-Yo also promote Cisco? It was crazy because back in the day, rappers now they promote like merchandise, right? Mm-hmm. They'll have clothing lines, whatever. Like back then, it was malt liquor. I mean, a lot of rappers have
what's
alcohol.
It called? St. Ides or something?
Oh, St. Ides led to carjacking.
In Old English.
We called that 8-Ball. That was my beer of choice when I was 18.
All that yeast.
Yeah. And all that alcohol. Well, you get $5, right? All you need was $5. You know what I get? I give me a pack of squares. They give me a pack of Newport 100s, the Newport Kings, and a 40. And we would go by my homeboy's sister's house because she had an apartment. We would just party over. For $5, I could give me a 40 and give me a pack of squares and be good all night. Man, I miss them days. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 3.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
On Friday night, the Milwaukee Panthers continue their road trip as they take on their Horizon League Conference rival, the Northern Kentucky Norse.
He's on, finds Stillwell, pitch at forecourt, Lovelace is open, Johnny goes up, Lovelace throws it down, and now Robert Morris will take a timeout. Listen to the crowd.
Scott Warris has the coverage Friday starting at 5:30 p.m. on 1017 The Truth and the Milwaukee Panthers Sports Network from Learfield. Tip-off happens at 6 o'clock.
This is 1017 The Truth's Kyle Wallace, and I am Milwaukee. I take great pride in being a 414 boy and representing the city that I love. The great memories I have of going to Northtown Cinema to see movies with family and friends, to going to Capitol Court to see the Black Santa Claus, this city has helped shape me into the man that I am today, and I pledge to utilize my voice as a way to advocate for you in our community. Join the home of Milwaukee's realest conversations where you can speak your truth. We are the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Milwaukee Black Talk.
Truth Nation, let us talk our ish for a moment. There is no other station in the country where you get a front row seat to hear from some of the biggest names in politics, pop culture, and sports. People like Grammy Award winner John Legend.
Knowing that fight isn't over, knowing that we've got to stay motivated and stay inspired. Glory was a song that myself and Common wrote. Two brothers from the Midwest, from Chicago and from Springfield, Ohio.
Oscar Award winning actor Don Cheadle.
I know that we're the bright, shiny thing that sometimes gets the attention, but I would say don't listen to celebrities. You don't have to listen to us. Listen to yourself.
And President Donald Trump's son, Don Jr.
When did we have a strong economy? And I don't think anyone with a straight face can say right now. And the reality, when you look at it, it's not even voting for my father. Look at the team that's now surrounding him.
Tap into the award-winning and nationally recognized 1017 The Truth by downloading the Truth app and streaming us live at 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Milwaukee Black Talk.
Calling all big thinkers. The world's climate is changing. These are harnessing the power of the sun to light all corners of the globe. Wind power, channeling a simple breeze to bring electricity to our homes. Hydropower, using the natural flow of water to generate electricity. Nuclear power, engineering advanced reactors that are safer, more reliable, and produce zero carbon emissions. Engineers are leading the way and empowering the next generation. Engineers answer the call. Brought to you by the National Academy of Engineering. Learn more at nae.edu.
You're listening to the new 1017 The Truth, founded in partnership with Associated Bank. Your money works here. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to hour 3 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Our phone number is 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. Well. Is this... Because her name is not on the line 1, like, text area. Linda.
Good morning.
Oh, hello there, Linda. How are you?
Good morning, Professor. I'm wonderful. Good morning, Professor. How are you?
I'm doing good.
And good morning to Good Karma Brand. And good morning to all the good black and white people of Milwaukee
and Wisconsin
and America.
We need all the positive, good people in this country to step up. I'm trying to tell you, put that love and kindness out there in the atmosphere. Because Sherwin, you bringing it, you loading us up, we getting all emotional. But Sherwin, that Long Island iced tea is asking for some dictator offset. That gives me good and plenty. Juicy.
You know what she's doing at that part in the song, right? You know, she want that juicy fruit.
Yep.
Linda, did I read this correctly in the YouTube chat? Did you want to get a room at the Pfister and then have the after party in your room in the Pfister? Don't do that, Linda. Don't do that. Don't have no freak show in the Pfister.
Why?
What you mean, why?
Why? Jerry, we're adults. We're not robots to be dictated to. Unless, it's sensuous and consensual. But.
Why are you talking about dictate?
But I want someone to dictate her assets. For what? I mean, really. Anyway, Sherwin. Yes, I think that would be great if we get a room afterwards. We still want to take it, to the next level. And
Linda.
We just have some fun. It's adult fun.
Linda, we are not having a freak off. Zach, bring the baby oil. We having a freak off.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying a Diddy freak off. I'm not saying an orgy. I am saying where adults get together, a little inebriated, but controlled, and we just having fun. We're not, we're not. Yeah, I think that would be a great idea. Hey, baby, you're sweet as honeydew.
Linda, I don't know if that's a good idea.
Yeah, we can have fun. I think if Al comes and I'm there and Cute Cat is there, especially JD. Come on now.
Say hi to Al. Say hi to him.
Hi, Al. What's happening?
What's up?
Well, so far you
Where
got a twosome. He's on the phone.
Huh?
That's where he's at.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in the truck.
No, I'm saying to be at the gym because I'm on my way to the gym.
Oh no, I left already.
Wait, do y'all hang out together?
Early sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Do you guys hang out together, or just see each other at the gym?
We run into each other at the gym.
Okay. All right.
I'll see how I be grinding. I be grinding hard, baby, for real, because, that's the time that I do movement meditation. And it's just beautiful, for real. You raise your dopamine, your serotonin, and, you just get a new perspective on yourself, your issues in life, and all of that. It's necessary, and it's so beneficial to your health, your mental, your mood. It really is an overlooked, activity that one should get involved in. If not once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, daily.
I know Al knows about that. You're not saying anything slick to a can of oil. Al knows already.
Well, no, the gym is a wonderful place. But it relieves a whole lot, though.
But you know what, Sherwin? I'm abstinent, and I have been for 2 years now, and this is longer than I normally do. I usually go 18 months, but this second time I've been abstinent, and it's gone longer. But I love it because you gain so much strength, so much self-awareness, and, it builds you up confidently, assertively, because you mastered yourself and your body.
Linda, that's you as a woman. If you need to do that to get your mental clarity. You see how some people...
Huh?
If you need to do that as a woman, if that helps you focus, then I think that's wonderful. But men need to release because it keeps our prostate active. Seriously, men need to release several times a week. I guess you still can release and be abstinent. But if that works for you, Linda, we're all for it. We support that. Good for you.
But I think I'm saying, Sherwin, that men should practice it. I know that I'm trying to understand the testosteronial perspective of sexuality because I find that you guys will reduce yourself just to release, and it puts you in precarious situations. And all I'm saying, I'm trying to understand, why is it that you guys get blue balls? Why is it that you guys have to release?
Stop. Blue balls doesn't exist. That was a lie that we told y'all to so that y'all could finish us off. Blue balls does not exist. But listen, when you're talking about abstinence, you're talking about people that are single. Because I'll be damned if I tell a happily married couple, tell that man that he should not be making beautiful, passionate love to his bride because, abstinence. Maybe you're referring to like certain people that are morally loose with their sexual proclivities. Maybe they should be abstinent, but I can't tell a loving couple that anybody should be abstinent, because that is how people exchange affection. So maybe for specific people. And we're overshadowing Al. Al, you need to talk to us as well. Now, Al is on the phone too now, Lynn. You got to share the phone with Al now.
Oh, no.
Okay.
The only thing the only thing I was going to say is, like, if the bars really wanted to make some money, they can use this wine. It's called Sweet Wet Type P. And then they can play that Sheena Easton, Sugar Walls, because it would get people in the mood. And then if they took the wine glass and put a little salt around it, around the rim, and put some of that Sweet Wet Type P in there, it'll set everybody in a certain mood. The other thing I wanted to share with y'all too, baby oil burns, so you need some type of lubricant, something that's gonna stay wet, because
coconut oil.
Or back in the day they used to use cooking oil, and if you was in a rush, get you some good old Crisco, or to come in the the lard that used to come in there when you on the move, but you got to keep a towel and use warm water because that grease won't come off. So I just wanted to share that information. But yeah, some of that, and the other thing you can do too that some of my lady friends used to do back in the day, they used to take some salt and put it between their legs during their time, and again, they say that would be the best Bloody Mary. And if they wanted to prove themselves, the man would actually go down there and lick them first, but they'll put the salt on their tongue before they lick their throat.
Well, thank you, Al.
All right, have a good weekend, y'all.
And Sharon, I just wanted to say, Sharon, can I comment about the couples? I think, people are doing different things now. Like, married people are living apart but together. And I think that practicing celibacy within a relationship, within a marriage is only fun. Because guess what? You're both agreeing on something, and you're looking for the outcome, and you're enjoying the journey, and you set the pace. You set the time. It's
Linda,
just variations.
This explains probably why you're single. If you're going to tell me that two married people should be practicing, the third most common reason why marriages end in divorce is because they're sexless. Married people and people that are genuinely in love and attracted to each other should not be withholding physical intimacy. That's insane. That's the reason why you're with that one person. I mean, there's other reasons too, but what's the point? If you're celibacy in a relationship, be celibate until you find, if you're single, until you find somebody you actually want to share your body with. But don't tell couples that mess. If I'm in a relationship, and then all of a sudden my wife or girlfriend is listening. Linda, stop. And my wife and girlfriend is listening to you on the radio. I'm like, Sherwin, I listen to Linda on the radio, and now I want to be celibate. You just cut off my supply. Telling these women in relationships to be celibate.
I'm just saying, be creative with it, Sherwin.
You can be creative
have to be
and
the
also
same old boring way.
That's you, Linda. Ain't nobody talking about doing nothing boring. Uh-oh.
But if you have the same partner and it's there all the time, doesn't it get kind of boring? Don't you want to be creative with it?
You can be creative if you are with someone that you deeply, truly are in love with. It doesn't get old. Yeah, I mean, you can switch it up. Like, I did a role play yesterday. You can do role playing is very fun. It's fun.
Oh, you did a role play?
Oh, God, I was a runaway slave.
Sorry.
No, I did a role play. I was a runaway slave, running, and then all of a sudden,
did she call you a nigger?
No. I found a Native American reservation. No, I wasn't a runaway slave and caught by a lusty white woman. No, that's my other role play.
Did you dictate her assets, Sherwin?
Why are y'all going right up against the line? Like, why are you guys getting so close? Is there anything else? No, I did not dictate anyone's assets.
Have a great weekend. See you Monday, and I'll have my room ready.
All right. I need y'all to understand something. How did you do that? I didn't make that sound. Did you do that in that producer studio? How did you guys do that?
I just want to know.
I'm trying to raise money for Axe Housing. Y'all gonna have a Diddy freak off.
At this point, what is we doing?
I don't know. But Linda over here ready to go to federal prison.
Zach making wolf noises. You got Al and Miss Shaq on the same line. You playing freak off music in the background. I have nothing to do with this segment whatsoever.
Oh, yes, you do. You're in this.
No, I'm not. Kyle, Sean, if y'all listening, I had nothing to do with this segment at all.
So we're going to be at the Pfister on Monday, January 27th from 5:30 until 7:30. We're going to be at Blue, the lounge on the 23rd floor of the Pfister at 424 East Wisconsin Avenue. And so what's going to happen is people are going to arrive, and they're going to hear this mysterious beeping sound. It's going to be very unusual. People are going to be looking around and say, beep, beep, beep. And people are going to be looking around, and it's going to be Linda out there waving a large dump truck toward the Pfister. Sherwin, I got the baby oil. I got a whole truckload of it. And she's going to bring a truckload. Linda, don't bring the baby oil. I need to take a commercial break because I've had it up to here with this. Oh, I'm over here trying to save y'all from the next damn pandemic. Next thing you know, we playing sugar walls, and Al gave a Bloody Mary recipe that's just highly offensive.
Only thing I heard from Al was baby oil hurts.
Oh, yeah, he said it burns. So, The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
It started with a prediction.
We'll go out there and play basketball and win.
And how many games?
6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture.
Associated Bank knows your small business isn't just a venture. It's your dream and a vital part of the community. And we're not just a bank. We're your neighbors. We're looking out for you. That's why Associated Bank offers quick online applications and approvals with funding in as fast as 1 business day, checking with no minimum balances or maintenance fees, and prompt customer service. Explore our products at associatedbank.com/business or visit a branch for more details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is your Milwaukee Public Schools City Conference basketball weekly update on the new 1017 The Truth.
The City Conference gave us some incredible games this past week. In the boys' gold division, we had a battle between two teams who sit atop the standings as the Milwaukee Hamilton Wildcats took on the Milwaukee Juneau Pioneers. Milwaukee Juneau's sensational sophomore, Dooney Johnson, went for 31 points, but that was not enough as the Hamilton Wildcats took care of business, beating the Pioneers 106-78. Now to the girls' side of things as the Golda Meir Owls traveled down the street to take on the Milwaukee Riverside Tigers. The Golda Meir Owls were scoring early and often and were led to victory by their junior guard, Anaya Blackman, as the Owls defeated the Tigers 57-27.
This has been your Milwaukee Public Schools City Conference basketball weekly update on the new 1017 The Truth. MPS proud and MPS strong.
Join the Greater Milwaukee Urban League as it celebrates individuals and organizations whose commitment to equity creates strong partners and strong communities. It's all happening at the annual Equal Opportunity Day Luncheon on Thursday, March 13th at the Pfister Hotel. Greater Milwaukee Urban League will honor local leaders and organizations committed to empowering communities and changing lives. Join us for a special recognition of legendary past President Ralph Holman. For details, sponsorship, and tickets, go to tmul.org.
I'm attorney David Gruber. We've helped injured Wisconsinites for more than 30 years. Trust our hometown team to get you back in the game. Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Let this play.
I just want you to know I'm putting that on Facebook. That's gonna be the clip of the day.
This song still goes hard. 40 years ago. 41 years ago.
Do the dance one more time. Wait. Listeners, if you are not on YouTube, you get on YouTube right now because Sherwin is there.
No, everybody relax. I knew at some point the show would fly off the rails, and all it took was a jar of cocoa butter petroleum jelly, just in case. This is not necessary for the studio, is it? Well, maybe it is. Maybe it is
petroleum.
It's cocoa butter, a little Vaseline for lubrication of some sorts. All right, guys, that's enough of that. I'm scared to read the YouTube chat. I know Mr. Mahdi ain't in the damn chat. And that's all the freaks. Let's see. Not really a city girl. When I get married, my man better have stamina. There's no celibacy going on in my marriage. Thank you. That's the reason why you're married. Hump City. You got a hump. And sometimes just you come home from work and just go right after her. Just grab her. Come here, woman. Oh, no. Stop it. What are you doing? You know what I'm doing. Oh, don't throw me on the bed. That would be terrible. Get on the bed. Throws woman on bed. You know how it's supposed to be. And sometimes it's just a little quick wham bam.
Just don't grab her by the hoo-ha.
Actually, maybe. So it depends, you know.
Be careful, don't get canceled.
I'm talking about a beautiful, loving exchange between two married, committed people. As long as she is consenting and he is consenting, you can do whatever you want. She might say something like, grab me like a bowling ball. I don't know what she's going to say. That's not my business. Women say all sorts of things. Why do you have a lint roller? Why are there so many sexual toys around this studio? Why is and the way you
that wasn't my idea. That was Zach's. I have no clue what's going on today.
Reggio says 33 years clean, never heard of anyone dying from being sexless. Yes, of course. People that don't get any loving die sooner. I'm watching myself back on YouTube. That is wholly embarrassing. Rick, don't do nothing with that.
Oh, it's coming. It is. Yes, it is.
Don't do it.
I'm doing it.
Don't do it. JD says the role play is going down. Zuri says age ain't nothing but a number. Age is nothing, my D. My knees are bad now.
Marcus, darling.
Oh, Mr. Mahdi is in the chat. I'm an old man, he says. I got you by 20 years, sweetheart. Mahdi, I think that you've already made your way through this chat. I think you've already run through the chat. You need to maybe get out of the chat and stop. Do y'all remember the last time we heard from Mr. Mahdi? Where was he at? He was at Linda's house. She called in like she normally does, and we heard a man in the background. We were like, I was like, oh, Linda, who was that? Because whenever you guys call me, if I hear somebody in the background, I want to know who it is, and sometimes I ask to speak to that person.
What do you mean by that?
And so Linda called, and she did her thing. Hello, Professor. Good morning, Truth Nation. Whatever she says, right? And I heard in the background, I was like, Linda, who was that? Nobody. I said,
accusations.
Linda, who do you have at your house, Linda? I don't got nobody. Who would you mean, Sherwin? I said, put him on the phone. He said, hey, Sherwin, this is Mr. Mahdi. I'm just over here cleaning Linda's pipes. She need to get her pipes done. I'm the pipe man.
He did not say that.
I got to get these pipes.
He did.
I got to fix
Zach said he really said that. He really was cleaning Miss Linda's pipes.
He was doing something over there, some maintenance work. She needs some maintenance now.
God, nasty.
Giving her oil change, something.
Oh, clean pipes or a laying pipe?
I don't know what he was. I wasn't there, man. I was doing my job. I was at work, and they was over there having a pipe fest.
Oh, Miss Linda.
This is also the same Linda that says she wants to get a room at the Pfister. Do y'all understand this is a sophisticated, classy event? I'm here raising money for Act Housing. Y'all want to have a freak off?
Ain't Miss Linda the one that said she liked to have sex in the back of a car during the rain?
She sure in the hell did. Talk about she's celibate.
Oh, Miss Linda. Miss Linda.
They don't have this on upstairs playing in the corporate office.
I'm pretty sure they do. I'm pretty sure Emily or Scalzo is listening, but they love the show. Upper management loves the show.
What happens is they tell you that, and then I'm going to tell you how it happens. So I'll conclude the show at noon. Kyle will come in here. I'll walk out, and all of them will be standing right at the end of the hallway. And they always have that look on their face. It's like a muted smile. That means you're fired. It's like,
no, like my meeting, Skiles will say he absolutely loves the show.
He may have loved a show.
No,
that week.
Scalzo said he loves the show.
Well,
we have the biggest numbers.
I don't mean anything.
Yes, it does.
Oh, I know. Trust me, dude. No, you'll find out. Numbers don't mean nothing. You have to get numbers the right way. You have to get do the right path to get, and whatever numbers you get by doing the right thing, because you got to do the right thing first. You got to follow the guidelines and the rules and the structure.
Sherwin, you're not going anywhere.
We'll see. Today we went right up against the line. Right up against the. Who is this now? Another freak. It's the freak line. The freak off line. 833-212-1017. Tell us your fantasy. What's your fantasy? Let's see. Zuri says, think I thought he was being chased by a white woman. You guys didn't hear my role play? I started yesterday's show with a role play where I was a runaway slave, and I stumbled upon a Native American reservation, and I'm hiding in the forest, and I'm looking at this Native American reservation, and all of a sudden a young Indian girl spots me. And she waves at me to come over. I'm nervous. I'm scared. I'm a runaway slave. And she catches me in the woods. And she says, no, come over. Come. And I walk through the woods. And she grabs my hand, this Native American girl, because I'm a runaway slave in Mississippi. And I found a Choctaw Indian reservation in Mississippi. And she takes me to her teepee. And I'm nervous. I don't know what's going to happen to me. I hear the dogs in the background. The slave catchers are hot on my trail. And she takes me into her teepee. And I'm nervous, but she tells me in her native language, her father is out hunting a moose, and her brothers are out hunting elk, and her mother and her two sisters are out gathering berries for the feast. And so it's just me and her in this teepee. Then she passes me a peace pipe. And I think you know what happens after that. Who is this on line one, Rick?
That is Gary. Gary has some positive things to say, and no, it don't includes a freak off.
Oh, that's good. That'll be a nice change of pace. Hi, Gary. How are you?
Hey, Sherwin. Good morning. You know what? I just wanted to call and say, man, I love your show.
Thank you.
And I really do, man. Keep educating, man. Keep educating the people, man. Of all of the talk radio hosts on all of the black radio stations, man, you do the best job. You really do. So I just want to let you know that I had called earlier, and I know I sound like my brother George, but I'm not. This is Gary. But I was calling earlier when you talking about affirmative action. You said a little piece on that, and I was just thinking because during the election, and a lot of times, sometimes I watch Fox News. You know, I was in the military for 20 years, so you got to know what your enemy talking about and what they're doing, and just listen to all these people talking about Kamala Harris and the press secretary Pierre, and them talking about that they're DEI hires, and it just angers me, man. To hear people talking that way in 2024, to hear people talking that way, like we as black people are not worthy of high-level positions, you know. And so for people, black people, maybe I shouldn't say this, but if you voted for Donald Trump, you cannot convince me that you're pro-black. Somebody that would look at somebody like Barack Obama and say that he's not the legitimate president. Anybody that supports something like that, I ain't got nothing for you. I'm sorry, but I don't. I just don't. That's just the way I feel. So, yeah, keep doing what you're doing, man, and keep educating the people.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. The last 30 minutes haven't been that educational, though. Not really. Not like politically. They've been educational in like a different category, in the category of freakonomics. What if Joe Biden, his economic plan wasn't Bidenomics? What was freakonomics? You gotta be freaky.
Freak man, yeah, that's you.
In 1972, I got elected to the Senate. I was young. It's a freak everything. Back then it was different. Yeah, I'm serious. Used to freak all the people. On June 29, 2023, the U.S. Supreme Court issued a long-awaited decision addressing the legality of race-conscious affirmative action. Nearly a decade ago, the SFFA, who was that? The Students for Fair Admissions, brought cases against Harvard and UNC alleging these universities' use of race as a factor in college admissions violated Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. In its challenge, SFFA argued that the Supreme Court's landmark affirmative action decision in Grutter versus Bollinger was wrongly decided and should in fact be overruled. Harvard and the University of North Carolina countered that they did not improperly emphasize race or discriminate in their admissions decisions, and that the use of limited race consciousness in admissions was consistent with decades of Supreme Court precedent. Where's the final decision? It's been overturned. I got the whole court briefing, but it's like 30 pages. So for those of you that didn't know, affirmative action is unconstitutional in the United States. And that's just... it's going to get worse from there. All right, let's take a break, shall we? Should we get this train back on the track? Maybe that's what we should do. I'll read some text messages at 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. I don't know what's going on in the YouTube chat. I think they just talk amongst one another, and I'm just background noise for them, so there's no telling what they're saying in the YouTube chat. If you want to see what they're saying in the YouTube chat, go to youtube.com or open up your YouTube app from your smartphone or other mobile device. Search The Truth with Sherwin Hughes or 1017 The Truth. Hit subscribe, and you will be blessed with all of the uncensored and unfiltered conversation in the YouTube chat. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, the Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, get ready to celebrate excellence, passion, and the power of community as we host our first annual Truth Community Awards on Friday, February 28th at Potawatomi Casino and Hotel. This will be a Truth family party where we will celebrate the unsung heroes of our community and we roll out the red carpet for those making a positive impact every day. Tickets are selling fast, so go to 1017thetruth.com today to make sure you do not miss out on the biggest celebration in Milwaukee. Tickets are only $25 and includes free food, free drinks, and free Truth giveaways. Don't miss an evening filled with entertainment, heartfelt stories, and celebrating our city with the 1017 The Truth team. Visit 1017thetruth.com right now to buy your tickets to our Truth Community Awards. That is 1017thetruth.com to secure your spot for a night of celebrating the excellence of our community. The Truth Community Awards is presented by Potawatomi Casino and Hotel and brought to you by the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He has inspired generations of change leaders, and many more are to come. Let's celebrate his legacy by enjoying incredible speeches by Milwaukee Public Schools students.
For the past few months, we have been in a time of extreme divisiveness and hostility. In all of the chaos, I find that I'm itching to get out there and make myself heard, to gratify my yearning for involvement. I'm so enthralled with desperately hoping that I'll make the right choices in the future that I fail to recognize the fact that I have the power to ensure that success now. As Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, we are faced with the fact that tomorrow is today. We are confronted with the fierce urgency of now. In this unfolding conundrum of life and history, there is such a thing as being too late. We need to take action, for ourselves and for each other. How will you help the people around you if you aren't willing to change? People are stronger when united. We dream and we try and we fail and we grow, but we do it together. What's important is that when someone asks you the question, what are you doing for others? You'll be able to say that you're changing. The best thing you can do for someone else isn't about material things or getting recognition for good deeds. It's letting someone make an impression on you. Letting someone challenge the way you see things. Letting someone change you, change your perspective. So consider the minor happenings a little more. Just flashing a smile at a stranger. A small change in your demeanor, and that person will be thinking about your kindness for the rest of their day. All it takes is a split second more consideration. That's all it really is. A thought. A change. A brilliant, shining chance to do what you can for others. Take it.
Marcus Performing Arts Center and We Energies are proud to sponsor the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Speech Contest. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, the Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome back to the program. Where do we even go from here? Like, how do we... All right, let's get this back on the tracks. I'm sure people in our text messages are saying things that are reasonable and clean. The word for... I don't know what words I can say. It's a part of the male reproductive organ. It's not... Even though I can say the male reproductive organ, the proper name, it's not like a banned word. What do I...
Don't even say it.
I want to explain something, Rick.
Just use the best example you can without saying it, because the way your hand just was, don't...
What word should I use for that part of it?
I know what you're trying to do. Don't do it.
I'm actually going to make a real salient point, okay? When you think about this now, all of of us used to live inside of our father's scrotum. We did. We all, no, seriously.
Okay. Yeah.
We all used to live there.
I'll
Okay.
allow it.
That was our first apartment. Then our dads kicked us out. And we moved in with our mother for 9 months. Okay? We lived there. We got too big. Our apartment was very small. And then she kicked us out. And then for a period of time, all three of us lived together. Isn't that a beautiful story? Of our first apartment, we were just in our dad just swimming around. Then all of a sudden, whoa! And then we moved in with our mother. And we stayed there. We really grew up for like 9 months, 40 weeks, living with our mom. And then eventually she was just like, you're too big to stay in here. Let me squeeze you out the front door. Not the back door, it's the front door.
So,
yeah. Yes, sir.
What was the point of that story?
I think it's a beautiful analogy of where we all started from.
This is such a freaky segment, a freaky hour.
No, it's not.
This
is anatomy. Listen, people can't be afraid to talk about anatomy. Now, how you guys twist it to talk about it sexually is up to you. I'm just giving actual facts of where we all started. We all started from the same place. And then we were rejected. And our mothers took us in for a while. We got ejected fast, too. So did our brothers and sisters.
Shooting right on out.
Some of them didn't make it.
Shooting in that thing.
Think about it. A lot of our brothers and sisters end up on a sock.
Bed sheet, the back.
All right, Rick.
Anatomy,
nervous.
right? We talk about anatomy here.
Oh, man.
Talking about anatomy. Life.
This has been a rough week, obviously. Donald Trump got inaugurated.
A rough hour.
It's been a lot of things have happened. We talked about the damn bird flu. It's already killing people in America. I just don't want to have to deal with that. I was hoping that as I was tracking the spread of the avian flu from chickens to cows to pigs and then ultimately to a human being, that Kamala Harris would get elected and we would get out ahead of a pandemic like Democrats normally do. And that didn't happen. And Joe Biden and Kamala Harris screwed this up some kind of way. Let me not blame them. It's not their fault. James Carville said nobody should hear from Joe Biden ever again. We should never want to hear from him again. And I agree with that. And that's not to be mean-spirited to Joe Biden, but he's given 50 years of his life and a reasonably stable 4 years in the presidency. And I say that because jobs were created, the stock market exploded. If you had money in the stock market and investments, even the cryptocurrencies, I think, did well under Joe Biden. He got the pandemic under control. He did give us a few more stimulus checks to get everything kind of back to normal, right? And so we don't need to hear from Joe Biden again. There's nothing productive that he can say. He did what he was supposed to do. He pardoned people that we knew that Donald Trump was going to go after. He appointed, I think, more federal judges than his predecessors, maybe in the history of the presidency. Joe Biden was really, really close as far as a single-term president. And already one of Donald Trump's executive orders has been overturned. But here's what's interesting. So they tried to overturn birthright citizenship, and I need you guys to know that is wholly and egregiously unconstitutional. You cannot use an executive order to overturn any provision in the Constitution. Over the weekend or whenever you guys have some time, I want you to familiarize yourself with every single part of the 14th Amendment, because the 14th Amendment of the Constitution is what gave us, black people, freed slaves, humanity, dignity, and citizenship in this country. And so they use the 14th Amendment for everything, and they're trying to strike down the 14th Amendment because that can take away birthright citizenship. The whole term of birthright citizenship came from Africans that were born in America, no matter what, you're a citizen, because they try to consider us as others when we were 3/5 of a human being. So the 14th Amendment grants citizenship, and it's almost like an untouchable constitutional right. It is the 14th Amendment. It's one of the Reconstruction Amendments, which you all know, the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th. So Donald Trump wants to try and use executive orders to overturn provisions in the Constitution, which you can't do. So when Donald Trump signs an executive order that we know is unconstitutional, they have the ability to there's a more proper name for it, but essentially court shop. So somebody challenges a Donald Trump executive order. because he is the president. He gets to select the judge and the court to hear his case, meaning Donald Trump is looking for a judge that will agree with him that the 14th Amendment should be overturned. And now the ability to give and take away citizenship will be solely in Donald Trump's hands, which, let me be clear, we don't want that, because then he can use that power to determine who is and who is not a citizen forever. And we just don't want him to have that kind of power. So they picked the judge. This happened yesterday. They picked the judge that was appointed by Ronald Reagan. Remember, Ronald Reagan was arguably one of the most conservative. He was an evangelical religious president. He was as evangelical as I think we've ever had in this entire nation, okay? And so the judges that Ronald Reagan put on the court were extremely, extremely conservative. Not just on the U.S. Supreme Court, even though he did appoint the first woman to the court, he would appoint extremely conservative judges to the federal bench and the federal appeals court. This is Ronald Reagan we're talking about. So the Trump administration, Donald Trump signs an executive order to overturn. Trump had gone too far. Now, here's the thing. The next executive order, and God knows what it is going to get challenged in court as well. And the Trump administration is going to find another judge, like Eileen Cannon, who essentially threw out all of Donald Trump's federal convictions. And eventually they're going to judge shop, and they're going to find a judge in a district court somewhere that is going to agree with Donald Trump and his ability to create executive orders that can rewrite the U.S. Constitution. And that's also why we have to be particularly careful when these Republicans here in the state of Wisconsin want to put constitutional amendments on our ballot, because they're essentially doing the same thing. But what the Republicans are doing is they're using clever wording to get voters to change the Constitution. Trump is just trying to do it with executive orders and by taking advantage of a judiciary where he actually has appointees and other conservative presidents have appointees as well. This is the trajectory that we are going down in this country. Here's the good news in all of this. Whenever this ends, and eventually it will, if we survive it, we'll all be much better students of civics than we are right now. And on that note, I'm going to take a break, come back. I said I was going to read some text messages, didn't I? Marquez says, Al calls in and turns it into a freak show. Yeah, that's true. All right, now I got to take a break. Jules is on line one. Talk to him on the other side. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app and 1017thetruth.com.
Coming with straight truth.
Thank you for what you just said. I didn't even think of that last part you said of this. That's why you come to a globe head like you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I do have a globe head. Look at that. Shining.
Okay, there you go.
I appreciate that.
No, but fair. Very neutral.
I try.
All right, then. I appreciate it.
All right. Appreciate you, Mike. Take care.
Listen to Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris every weekday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app.
It's 1017 The Truth's Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Happy New Year means a lot of rough days ahead for those who suffer from seasonal affective disorder. Plenty of gray, frigid days on the horizon where we all just want to be snuggly and warm at home. That's where Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin comes in. Their inviting doors welcome friends and family into a cozy home thanks to Pella's gorgeous, energy-efficient windows, keeping the cold out. Pella can make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Visit Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin showroom today so you can learn the Pella difference and get inspired on making your home more energy efficient and beautiful with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Hurry, you only have until January 31st to score Pella's New Year's special. 0% interest for up to 3 years. Certain restrictions apply. Visit PellaWI.com.
Associated Bank knows your small business isn't just a venture. It's your dream and a vital part of the community. And we're not just a bank. We're your neighbors. We're looking out for you. That's why Associated Bank offers quick online applications and approvals with funding in as fast as 1 business day, checking with no minimum balances or maintenance fees, and prompt customer service. Explore our products at associatedbank.com/business or visit a branch for more details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Immerse yourself in a place where bold ideas are sought after, where all are encouraged to bring their personal flourish. Here, innovation is a way of life. In this city, the beat flows. Together, we're dancing to the rhythm. Forward. Now, it's your turn to grab hold of that energy, where you'll remember not just the meals, the celebrations, or the uncommon coast. What you'll remember is how we made you feel. Come experience Milwaukee, where fresh meets fearless every day.
Join the Greater Milwaukee Urban League as it celebrates individuals and organizations whose commitment to equity creates strong partners and strong communities. It's all happening at the annual Equal Opportunity Day Luncheon on Thursday, March 13th at the Pfister Hotel. Greater Milwaukee Urban League will honor local leaders and organizations committed to empowering communities and changing lives. Join us for a special recognition of legendary past President Ralph Holman. For details, sponsorship, and tickets, go to tmul.org.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
That's not the song I wanted to play. I want to play this one. The award-winning 1017 The Truth is the proud home of Milwaukee Panthers basketball. The Milwaukee Panthers continue their road trip to take on the Horizon League Conference for the Northern Kentucky Norse. Yay. Scott Warris has the coverage tonight starting at 5:30 p.m. on 1017 The Truth and the Milwaukee Panthers Sports Network from Learfield. Tip-off is set for 6 o'clock. This is a classic Prince song. Rick, are you familiar with this in your DJ repertoire?
Yes, I am. That's Prince. I'm not. I forgot the name of the song. It's not Darling Nikki.
It is Darling Nikki.
Oh, it's Darling Nikki. Okay.
Yeah, it is. I wanted to play Erotic City, but he says a naughty word in there.
What's the naughty word?
I can't say it because it's naughty. We can until the dawn, making love till cherries gone. Erotic City, can't you see? So pretty, you and me. We can until the dawn, making love.
Ain't no clean version to that?
Not that I found on this particular music app I'm using. Wow. And I gotta apologize sometimes, y'all, because the volume is sometimes louder with some songs than other songs.
As a DJ, you're supposed to know these things.
I don't have DJ equipment. They didn't give me ones and twos for the whole studio yet.
You called yourself a DJ, so you gotta act like one.
DJ is only as good as their equipment.
No.
Yeah, If you could, okay, DJs. If you show up to a gig and you'll say, "Hey, do I need to bring my equipment?" And say, "No, we got equipment here." And they'll be like, "Bet," because it's easier because you ain't got to cart your equipment around. So you expecting them to have high tech equipment. You get there and it's 2 turntables. Both of y'all will be shook.
Turntables. I could work on turntables.
Looks that guy quiet.
No,
I mean turntables with you got to play albums. They got a whole bunch. Here's the music we want you to play tonight for your set, and it's a bunch of records.
I have a saying: real DJs do real things.
That's yay.
If you're a DJ, you should be able to work on all equipment.
Most modern 21st century DJs will be stuck if there's 2 Techniques turntables.
I put it to you like this.
Oh, put it to me like this, DJ Master.
It's a $500-$600 check. You gonna pass up on it?
I don't know if modern DJs would be able to operate with 2 turntables.
Look, I gotta get this money. I'm gonna make it work.
All right, fair enough. Jules, you're on 1017 The Truth. How are you?
I'm well, sir. Thanks. Good morning. Thank you for taking my call. I just wanted to add a couple of tidbits listening to some of those things you talked about with the efforts to end birthright citizenship. While I do agree that this administration will run into resistance with actions that directly defy the U.S. Constitution, but I do expect that he will find very happy, very willing accomplices in other venues toward that goal. For example, I expect that there will be agencies across America who will be glad to deny or refuse to issue birth certificates to people whose children were born here if they feel like they're not the ones they want here. I expect some of that to happen. I also would like to mention that, I don't know if you mentioned earlier, that it's being reported that some people, U.S. citizens, have become ensnared and snatched up during some of these raids that they've commenced in what so-called sanctuary cities across America. There have been some people who one of them was a U.S. veteran. I also wanted to point out that lost my train of thought. That's what I wanted to add. Oh, yes, Tennessee Republican Andy Ogles has introduced a amendment to the 22nd Amendment to change the U.S. Constitution, while we're on the subject of the Constitution, that will allow for a third term for Donald Trump. So it begins. So that effort begins. I expect that the tech bros at some point will lend their influence. They were talking about the Musk of the world with Twitter and Zuckerberg with Facebook, lend their powerful social media influence toward the campaign and the promotion and steering Americans toward accepting and normalizing that nonsense. But we're on the way with those things. I just wanted to offer those tidbits.
Thank you, Jules. Have a good weekend. A Tennessee congressman has proposed a resolution to amend the Constitution to allow President Donald Trump to serve a third term. U.S. Representative Andy Ogles, a Republican from Tennessee, has filed a joint resolution in Congress proposing to change the 22nd Amendment of the Constitution of the United States. Passed after Franklin Delano Roosevelt's fourth term as president, it limits presidents to just 2 terms. Currently, it states, quote, no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice, and no person who has held the office of president or acted as president for more than 2 years of a term to which some other person was elected president shall be elected to the office of president more than once. They'll need 2/3 of the states to ratify it, and as of right now, they probably will get it, so I guess we'll see how that happens or what transpires with that. Rep. Ogles wants to make the change to allow Trump and future presidents to serve a third term. We don't want Trump to serve a third term, but I would have taken a third term of Obama, right? Instead of a first term of Trump, we would have had a third term of Obama, because if Obama would have been running against Trump, Obama would have beat him. That would have been nice to have a third term, but it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. So just so you guys know, and I've been seeing things on social media about ICE raids. ICE raids are totally illegal. Using the Immigration and Customs Enforcement and the Department of Homeland Security, listen to me, they can go in anywhere at any time. That's number one. I want you to be watching out for that, because you can't stop them. Local authorities can't stop them either, because this is federal business and the entire nation is the federal jurisdiction. Okay, so ICE raids are going to be happening. They weren't kidding about that. The other thing I want you to watch is let's start keeping track of unemployment in this country. It is going to go up, but watch how it goes up, because they do it like they'll track it monthly and then quarterly and then annually. Let's watch African-American unemployment tick up in this country. And some of you may think, oh, it's just the cyclical nature of employment cycles in this country. They have gutted the U.S. Department of Civil Rights and the Department of Justice, meaning no new discrimination cases are going to be taken. And the Equal Employment Act essentially was erased with Donald Trump's executive order on his first, if not his second day. You can now fire black people, and we will be the first ones getting fired for no reason whatsoever. Unless you're in a union, then it might be a little different. But if you're an African-American employed in this country and you think there might be some racism in the ranks of your employment, management, upper management, president, vice president, CEO, they can fire all of their black people. And they actually can say, yeah, we don't want black people working here anymore, and fire you, and you have no recourse, because the Trump administration has taken away the Civil Rights Division. Where we go when we file employment discrimination cases, it is gone. So now they may something else may happen where they may bring it back, but every single black person in this country, I need you to understand me, I'm not kidding. You are all vulnerable to being fired. I'm not safe. I might get fired. And you know what's crazy? You know who they have fire me? Dr. Ken. Just to make it even worse. So I'd leave my show. My show is over in literally a minute and 5 seconds. So I'm going to pack up all my stuff. Kyle's going to come in and do his show. I'm going to walk out the door right here, walk down this little short hallway, and then when I get to the other hallway, that's where Dr. Ken is going to be. Sherwin, I think you know what this means. How come, Sherwin? How come you always be on the radio talking the way you're talking? And he's going to fire me. Don't come back, Sherwin. You're out of here. I'm from the south side of Chicago. But for some reason, I never go back there. So wish me luck, everybody. And I wish you guys luck, too, because ain't no telling what's going to happen in this new world. But I will do my level best. Rick will, too, to keep you guys up to date and informed. And we're going to learn a bunch of things. We're going to know how to protect ourselves and guard from all that could be coming from this administration. So we got week 1 done. That's under our belt. We'll start on Monday with week 2. And don't forget, Monday at 5:30, I'll be at the Pfister Hotel at the Blue Lounge on the 23rd floor, bartending to raise money for Axe Housing. You guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you soon.
Hey, it's Dr. Ken Harris, and I want to invite you to join us for our first annual